hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
That we know are very close to Putin now. He's not like the sort of military men, the intelligence chiefs, who I think often live in a kind of closed world, have a closed worldview. He's a man of the world. You might say he should know better, but for now at least he's peddling propaganda and lies to support his government. Just draw your attention to Andrei Kozyrev's tweet that Carl Bildt, a Swedish diplomat, has retweeted. He was the first foreign minister after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, and he was also Sergei Lavrov's boss. He was Lavrov was his deputy foreign minister. He's tweeted saying, "I call on all Russian diplomats to resign in protest," saying that they are just pouting propaganda otherwise. Well, Lavrov's not listening to him today, it seems.
Dominic, thank you. So 1 million people have fled Ukraine, leaving behind most of what they own, their homes, their possessions, for many, their pets. Families have been torn apart. Let's take a closer look at the numbers now. So that headline figure again, more than 1 million people have now fled Ukraine in the last 7 days, according to an update this morning. The UN Refugee Agency says that that's the quickest exodus of refugees this century. So that means that 2% of Ukraine's population of 44 million have left in just a week. Poland has taken more than half of all refugees, 505,000 so far. We've also heard a country-by-country breakdown of refugee numbers this morning. Hungary has seen more than 190,000 arrivals, tens of thousands in Moldova, Slovakia and Romania too. More than 47,000 people have gone to Russia too, with 357 people moving to Belarus. The rest of Europe has seen nearly 90,000 refugees. Well, for many of those forced to flee their homes, Lviv is the last major Ukrainian city that they'll see. It's in the west of the country, close to the Polish border. Adam Parsons is there and sent this update.
We just saw a man with his hand pressed up against the window of a coach. He was saying goodbye to his family. He's from Luhansk. He fled to Kharkiv. He said goodbye to them. They're going away, and he's going back to join the Ukrainian army. And you hear stories like that again and again. These people are in a queue for a bus. We've talked a lot about trains. The bus is actually carrying a lot of people out of Lviv. It's almost all, as you'll see, sort of women and children and some foreign students. But you do hear a lot of tales. Let's see if we can grab a word with Julia, who's here. We introduced ourselves to her a little earlier. Julia, I know you're Poltava, between Kiev and Kharkiv and Sumy. Tell me, why are you here?
Because my Poltava city near with Kiev and Sumy and Kharkiv, and it's dangerous, very dangerous. And I come to Lviv and then maybe Warsaw, Poland.
It's a very, very difficult decision, isn't it, for you?
No, but we must do something. I don't know, we must do this. Yes, my family stay in Poltava. I come to this place. I don't know what then.
Do you want me to help you move forward in the queue? I don't want you to leave your place in this one, Julia. And tell me, how are you feeling about what's your emotions about what is happening in Ukraine?
I want to come back, really. I think maybe Russia stop this blood and Putin stop because it's idiot president of Russian Federation, and I think I come back to my home, really, to my relatives. I hope.
You're being very strong, and I see this. So many Ukrainian people are resilient and strong. I mean, the love for the country is very clear.
Yes, I think we are strong people, and I think we must we must to
Whatever you can.
I think Putin stopped and we come back home, really.
That's your dream.
It's my dream, and I think it will be, yes.
Julia, thank you very much indeed. We wish you
Thank you.
safe...
Maybe my English is not good, but...
Your English is excellent. Thank you. It's a lot better than my Ukrainian. Julian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Indeed. And I do think that sense of resilience I've heard from so many people around here. Look, this is a grim and miserable situation for people who take pride in their country. And we're on the eastern extreme of Europe here. This is a country who wants to join the European Union. When it left the Soviet Union, its aspiration was for normality. Now it finds itself caught in this horrendous and uncertain war. And you have this incredible blend in places like this of pride and strength and resilience, all the while in a cocktail with fear and anxiety and nervousness and that sense of dislocation. And that is the challenge that Ukraine is facing on a physical, emotional level, as well, of course, of the horrendous scenes we're seeing a few hundred miles away.
Adam Parsons there with the latest from Lviv in Ukraine. Now, the International Criminal Court has officially opened an investigation into possible Russian war crimes in Ukraine. The court's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, confirmed work to collect evidence has begun after the UK and 37 other countries referred atrocities to the ICC. The Foreign Secretary Liz Truss is in Lithuania today, meeting ministers from the Baltic states of Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia. All three countries are NATO members which border Russia. The Disasters Emergency Committee is launching a joint fundraising appeal to help people fleeing conflict in Ukraine. The charity and its local partners are in Ukraine and across the border in neighbouring countries, working to meet the immediate needs of people fleeing the war. The United States has postponed a scheduled intercontinental ballistic missile test in an attempt to cool tensions with Moscow. The decision to stop the tests was taken after Russia announced it was putting its nuclear forces on high alert. The European Union Home Affairs ministers are meeting in Brussels to discuss how best to help the million refugees who fled Ukraine so far, and also support the bloc's eastern countries where many of the people are expected to arrive. Well, Sky's Laura Bundock joins us now from Brussels. So Laura, just tell us more about the plans that you know of so far and what we're likely to hear from this meeting.
Yeah, well, it's a meeting basically to set in stone this relaxation of the rules, which means anyone fleeing Ukraine won't have to have a visa. I think we can cross now to Liz Truss speaking in Lithuania.
Laura, I'm so sorry. We'll come back to you.
I'm
Let's
happy
just go straight to
that
Liz Truss now.
Many supporting friends come to show support to our country and who also ensure the security of the region together. We had an exchange of opinions. We expressed our views to the situation in Ukraine. We also coordinated our actions on the future ministerials of NATO ministers and the EU ministers, foreign ministers meeting. The main things that we have discussed are further support and assistance to Ukraine. We have agreed that we can no longer make a half step only. We have to do everything that is possible to support Ukraine in military, in financial, and economic means. And the same applies to sanctions. We cannot say A without saying B. We have to try to ensure that all banks in Russia are cut off from SWIFT. We have to start speaking about the imports of energy resources from Russia. We also should not forget that Belarus is a counterpart of this aggression against Ukraine. And the third element that we have discussed in our meeting today is military support to Ukraine, to the Baltic states, We have to move on from deterrence to defense. And this is why we need a change of political approach. We also need practical means for that. And they are needed for all three Baltic states. So that if Putin decides to test NATO resistance in this region, would be responded right away, would get a response, a political response, and also a clear defensive response if that would be needed. Thank you. And now, Secretary of State of the UK.
Thank you, Minister Langbergers, for bringing us here together in Vilnius. The United Kingdom stands with our allies in doing all we can to support Ukraine against President Putin's war of choice. We must ensure Putin fails in this horrific enterprise and his ambitions go no further. We were pleased to support Lithuania's leadership, referring war crimes to the ICC. I'm here today in Vilnius with our Baltic friends because I want to say that the UK's commitment to the Baltics and to Article 5 are unyielding. Our Baltic friends know what's at stake, having long lived in the shadow of Russian aggression, and I admire your courage. We're working together to deliver two clear objectives. First, Putin must lose in Ukraine. We're helping Ukraine defend itself. Our defensive weapons from the United Kingdom are now being used to stop Russian tanks, but we need to do more. Secondly, we must contain this aggression. We are reinforcing NATO's eastern flank and supporting European security through the UK-led Joint Expeditionary Force. We are here in the Baltic region. We lead and have doubled our enhanced forward presence in Estonia. Our allies are leading troops across the Baltics. British military intelligence are working with Lithuania's military to enhance border defensive, including in the Suwałki Gap. 200 troops are doing joint military exercises right now, and we're working together on maritime security. At the NATO Foreign Ministers meeting tomorrow, we will be working together to strengthen our collective defence in the light of the changed security situation across Europe. In terms of supporting Ukraine with defensive weaponry, the United Kingdom was the first European country to give defensive military support to Ukraine, and we are now also supporting with the humanitarian aid. We've pledged 220 million in aid support to Ukraine, and we're the top European donor, and we will do more. We've also been at the forefront in tightening the vice on the Kremlin through sanctions, and it's vital at this juncture that we keep our foot on the gas. We've worked with the US, the EU and G7 to cut off funding for Putin's war machine, kicking Russian banks out of the financial system. We've also shut our airspace to Russian planes, and we're fast-forwarding sanctions against Russian oligarchs. But we need to go further. We need to make sure no Russian bank has access to SWIFT. And we need to go further on reducing dependency on hydrocarbons from Russia, including oil, gas and coal. We've also launched sanctions against Belarus for aiding and abetting aggression. I will be raising these issues at the G7 tomorrow and also at the European Union Foreign Affairs Council alongside the United States, Canada and Ukraine, who have also been invited in these extraordinary circumstances. This is a struggle not just for Ukraine's freedom and self-determination, but for all of our freedom and security. By continuing to respond with strength, we will together ensure that Putin loses. And we stand with our brave allies here in the Baltics to do just that. Thank you.
Estijos užsienio reikalų ministrė Eva Marija Liep. Prašau.
Estonian Foreign Minister.
Well, I would like to thank Gabrielius for bringing us together for this very much needed discussion and coordination among our Baltic friends and together with our very close ally, United Kingdom. We focused mainly on discussing war started by Russia in Europe and how we could support Ukraine more than we have done so far. I think we have done a lot, but I agree that we have to do more. We have to continue to support Ukraine politically, financially, and also to help with them to defend their country, their sovereignty and territorial integrity, but most importantly today also the lives of the people of Ukraine. Ukraine is a European country, and what we see at the moment, Ukraine is a country who is protecting European values in front line of Europe. From Estonian side, we continue to support Ukrainians' transatlantic aspirations and also support Ukrainian candidacy to the EU. We have to continue to send supportive messages to Ukraine to support their people in these very difficult circumstances. At the same time, of course, we must do our utmost to stop the war, and to stop the war, we of course need to raise the cost of war. And here we have made good decisions, but we need to do more so that the cost of war for Russia would be expensive and this war stops. I think that also it's very important to use all political means to take aggressor account, because these war crimes that we see taking place while we are speaking here, these people who are behind this, they must be taken accountable for their actions. Finally, I also would like to express Estonia's appreciation towards the United Kingdom, who is leading country of EFP mission in Estonia. We really are thankful for quick decisions that we have seen over the last few weeks by doubling UK troops in Estonia, and we very much look forward to tomorrow's decisions at the NATO level, how we could have permanent decisions for our region, how we permanently strengthen the eastern flank of Europe because of NATO, because the security situation in Europe has changed and the power of balance has changed, so we have to make adjustments within NATO. So I look forward to our tomorrow's meeting at the EU and NATO, and of course hope that this war that has started by Russia will end soon. Thank you.
Latvijos užsienio reikalų ministras Edgaras Rinkevičius.
Latvian Foreign Minister Edgars Rinkevičius.
Gabrielius for being excellent host, and thank you very much, Elise, for coming and also having great discussion with us and also showing the full solidarity and support to the Baltic states. It's actually very difficult to speak as the last speaker because everything has been said by previous colleagues speaking, and I think that I can agree with everything. However, let me stress 3 points. Number one, and that's about our strategy, I think, how to deal with this very difficult situation. Number one, we must continue supporting Ukraine in any way we can. I think that we are in agreement here. Ukraine needs diplomatic support, Ukraine needs political support, Ukraine needs economic support, and Ukraine needs support through military means. I think that this is where we are absolutely clear, and we have had very good exchange among ourselves about the ways how we can further have this assistance. Second, we must stop Russia from further aggression. And that's where sanctions, diplomatic pressure come in place. Well, I'm very satisfied with the way how European Union, G7, NATO has been acting in the past 7 days. I think that I can only agree with my colleagues that we still have plenty of work to do. We still haven't closed some loopholes. We still need to ensure that there are further economic sanctions against Russia, but also the same set of sanctions must be applied against Belarus, because Belarus is complicit of the aggression that Russian Federation is committing, and also Belarus could be used by Russia to actually avoid some of the harshest effects of sanctions. And from that point of view, we must have sanctions that target both aggressors, Russia and Belarus. And the third is the regional security. I do believe that NATO has been very successful establishing deterrence mission in this region after events of 2014, after occupation of Crimea. But I think that we are in the next phase where we must exercise deterrence and defense. We are very grateful to those allies who have already sent more troops to the region. But we also know that we need to respond to the very quickly changing situation. I know that many people are asking how safe are the Baltic states or Poland or any of Eastern flank nations. I think that the presence of the Foreign Secretary here, the discussions that we are having at NATO and we are going to have tomorrow, sends a very clear signal that there is an ironclad commitment by NATO to do its work. There is concrete discussion and plans and also actions already taken. And I think that we all understand that we will see this kind of challenging situation as long as there is the current leadership in Russia and even beyond. So we must be prepared for a very long-term engagement addressing all those three elements I was just talking. So thank you very much one more time. Thank you very much also to colleagues for a very efficient and very fruitful discussion we had this morning.
Now, members of the media, it's your time to ask. You may ask in English or in Lithuanian. Please come to the...
You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamb.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamb@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable and trustworthy.
Hi there! Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you're listening to Starr.
say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say it go happen, it go happen, it go happen. If I no say it go happen, as God say it go do then if I no say, everybody say it go happen, it go happen. Certainly, I say it go happen, as God say it go do.
Hello, good morning and welcome to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Today is Thursday, the third day of March, the year 2022, with a time now 10:38 from the heart of London. And it's the Thursday edition of the morning show. So once again, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show wherever you might be listening to us from. Share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well.
I just trust in chariots.
It go happen. Whatever you're believing or trusting God for this morning, I pray that it all comes into being, comes together nicely for you, so that your joy is made whole. Some way, somehow, it does happen, and therefore, hold on to faith. Don't throw in the towel. Don't give up. Across the globe, wherever you are facing any challenges, from Ukraine to whatever challenge that you are also facing, well, I want to tell you one thing. Never give up. Okie dokie do. Let me say good morning to my colleagues, Mr. Frank Davis, Mr. Olayomi, Kojo D, Felix all the way in Aberdeen, and to our able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Massive good morning to you guys. And let me say morning to all presenters on Starr Radio UK. Queen Regina, Anima, morning to you and to the family as well. And I'm taking this opportunity to also say good morning to our listeners in the US, those of you in Europe, those of you in Australia, those of you in Asia, those of you on the African continent, especially you lovely ones in Nigeria, Ghana, Uganda, South Africa. I know it costs you an arm and a leg to actually buy your data to watch us or listen to us, but whatever it is, we salute you greatly for all the sacrifices that you make. So once again, I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show.
Playing in the background something from Nana Manuel. Says it go happen. So as I said earlier on, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages. 10:41 the time. All protocol observed. If you are sitting, sit very comfortably. If you are standing, hold on to something. Get yourself a hot or cold drink, whichever is appropriate. And let's go on this journey. Well, I'm going to make sure that you arrive at your destination in peace and not pieces. Okay, so buckle up. And for those of you who are listening to us for the first time, let me say good morning, especially to Pablo, Junior, Eze. Nice, nice job, Pablo. I hope you are doing very, very, very well. Well, I'm going to bring you the quote for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel updates. We'll move on from there to have a look at some of the stories making the rounds across the globe, known as Global Trotting. Then exactly at 11 o'clock, we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will be bringing you updates from Nigeria. I hope that you enjoyed the program yesterday on the Niger Voices as well, which he brings to you every Wednesday at 18 hours UK time. Okay, so then after that, exactly at 12 o'clock, the lines are opened for each and everyone who wants to join in to add their voices to the discussion to do so. And I'll be having on my panel Kojo D, Felix, and all the other guys there. Let me say good morning to Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin. Yesterday I heard your voice. I hope you are doing very well, sir. Mr. Malik Dramani Mahama and all others, we salute you. Dr. Morton. Hey, Mr. David Kluche. Yeah. Long time no see, sir. Hope you are doing good. Okie dokie do. Let's crack on. Now, great organization emerged from the right and great people, not just business opportunities and a ready market. Now, great organizations emerge from the right and great people and not just business opportunities and ready market. So, are you a great organization? Are you? Did you build it out of great people? Wow. But you are a great person to me, listening to me, watching me live wherever you might be doing that from. And I love you to bits for doing so. Okay, let's move on straight to the weather front. Now this morning it's been quite calm here in London and the southeast of England. But let me give you details of what is going to be happening in the UK. Now today, the north and west of Britain will be dull and overcast with outbreaks of rain. Northern Ireland and southeast England will be drier with the bright spells. Now windy in northern Scotland. Now tonight, the rain. It goes over to say tonight, the rain. What is going to happen? The rain will slowly spread east across Scotland and northern England, falling heavy in places. The western areas will turn drier with skies over Northern Ireland and Wales and southwest England. You come in. Ready. But when it comes to London and the southeast of England, this is what the weather holds out for you. A bit of details on that. Now, it will be mostly dry with variable cloud cover as the day progresses down. Cloud will gradually tend to thicken from the west, but it will remain largely dry with just this odd spot of rain likely. But as I said, tonight it will become largely overcast with a few spots of rain likely to reach in from the west at times. However, any rain should generally be light and intermittent in nature. Top temperature 12 degrees, the lower is going to be 7 degrees. A bit milder than it's been of late. Now, UV level is going to be low. Pollution is going to be moderate. Sunset 17:44 and sunrise for tomorrow morning 06:42 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. But don't you worry, I'll be bringing you more of that song in a moment. But for now, let's take a quick commercial break. And then once we come back, I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned. Starr, are you okay?
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour Show is your best source into the property industry.
Check it out. Keep your eyes on the road.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'll keep you navigated. I promise I'll burn the travel update. I come to every day from 10:40. It's now 10:46. Now, what is your travels like wherever you are across the globe? But here in the UK or in London, this is how the travel is like. Now, on the underground this morning, there are lots of suspension because of strike actions by workers there. So, Bakerloo, Circle, Hammersmith and City, Jubilee, Metropolitan, Piccadilly, Victoria, and Waterloo and City lines are all suspended. But when it comes to Central District, Central District, and Northern lines, there are part suspension there. So, but check before you leave. You might think that maybe this one is working, and then you might find yourself not getting on it. So please check before you leave. However, that aside, London Overground has got reduced service. Changes to Gospel Oak to Barking service from Monday the 28th of February to Friday the 4th of March. It says that the times has changed, so please check it before you leave, because it's quite a comprehensive one. The DLR as well, no service between Shadwell and Bank due to strike action by the RMT. Lewisham services are terminating at Shadwell, and Woolwich Arsenal services are being diverted to Tower Gateway. Good service on the rest of the line. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads, and we'll keep you navigated. That aside, Lightning Tramlink and TFL Rail has got good service. I'm moving on straight to the river bus. Apart from the Woolwich Railway that is still suspended, all the others have got good service. Now let's move on straight to the National Rail. On the National Rail, Cross Country, First Transpenna and Express, Great Anglia, London North Eastern Railway, Northern Rail, ScotRail, Thames Link have all got special service. Keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. Moving on to the final segment of the travel update at the major roads in London. This is what we have for you. So, A31 says I've got closures, A4 closures, and Central London Red Routes closures there as well. That aside, all the others, no exceptional delays. And that is why I come to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the roads.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Thursday edition of the morning show.
Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
And let me take this opportunity to wish Mrs. Anne Amani Daka a happy birthday. And I hope you are doing very well. I hope the party is coming on. The kids have all prepared whatever they prepared for you. And Dave has done all that he has to do. But whatever it is, you know, being alive is more important than everything. And look at how far God has brought you. Thank you, God. So happy birthday to you, Anne, and every one of you celebrating your birthdays today. I say a happy birthday. And a special one, happy belated to Dr. Tiana Tabo. Yeah, what's your birthday yesterday? Your poor uncle, he forgot, you know. But hey, it's better late than never. Good morning to you. And to every one of you, if you're celebrating your birthday today, the third day of the third month of the year 2022, 03/03/2022. My goodness. Good morning to you and happy birthday. So playing in the background, something from Manuel. Nana Manuel. Okay, it's now time for Global Trotting.
Have faith in God. Lean not on your own understanding. 1, 2, everybody say it go happen. It go happen. If I don't say it go happen, certainly I say it go happen.
I can see me say, Olayomi quick, I got myself some nice cup of coffee here. Oh my, Yomi, thank you very much. Now, I think I'm awake because of this coffee that I'm taking this morning. Now, what about you? Let's go Global Trotting. Aside from home here in the UK, not too late for Putin to withdraw Defense Secretary. Is saying the Russian president risked his country being isolated for decades over Ukraine, Ben Wallet says. But does he give a hoot about it? Well, we'll be looking into all those stories because it's been the story that is made the rounds for the past 8 days since this invasion began, or war, whichever you want to call it, whether military exercise or whatever they want to term it. Okay, culture is third front in Ukraine war, says Doris. Now, culture and sports can be effective as economic sanctions in isolation of or isolating Russia. An appeal to help refugees from war in Ukraine. Families escaping intense fighting need food, water, shelter, medical care. UK aid agencies is calling. So if you can contribute anything. Well, somebody's saying that, well, what did they do to the blacks who were also crossing the border to neighboring countries? Well, we hope our leaders are going to bring it up. But to the Romanians, I salute you all. I remember back in the day we translated some business with Romania. It was a good one. It was a very, very good one. Some huge contracts there. You know, it was a good one back in the day, back in Ghana. Yeah. But I'm surprised about the Polish. But that is another story that we'll be looking at in a moment. But Sarah Everett's family pay a tribute on anniversary. Now, Sarah Everett's family say they remember her today as every day a year on from her murder. And it's a year on. Women feel more protected on our streets or on our roads. What do you think? We'll be looking into all those stories in a moment. It's all coming your way from Star Radio. You get 6 minutes to the top of the hour. The time is at 11 o'clock. We'll be having Ms. Olayomi who will be coming in to bring you updates from Nigeria. Okay, so let's continue. Well, it doesn't matter what you're going through, as I say all the time, some way, somehow, God is able to do it. Now, on the international front, the first major city falls as 1 million flee Ukraine. The Kherson in the south is in Russia's control, while civilians in other cities seek shelter from intense bombardment. But interestingly, when I watch some of these stories and I see people who are that resilient saying that, look, we're not going to be moving to anywhere, we don't have any place where we will be going to, then I think, whoa, what's happening?
I take it again. Some trust in horses, I just trust in chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding. One more time, hey. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding.
Okay, Abramovich says he will sell Chelsea. Well, and he says that the profit on it is going to be donating it to the Ukrainians who have been affected by this Russia invasion. Now, oil producers stick to their plan despite Ukraine. Countries that export oil plan to pump more crude into the market, but not much. And then in Taiwan as well, there's a massive Taiwan blackout, leaving many without power. The blackout reportedly happened after an accident at a power plant in southern Taiwan. You know, now when anything happens, people think, whoa, what's up? On the African front as well. The Pan-African broadcasters pulled Russia Today TV multi-choice said its feed had been hit by the EU suspension of the channel over disinformation. I'm just so scared for my friend still in Ukraine. A Nigerian dental student who has fled to Poland is advising others to go to Hungary and Romania. A Mozambique leader has sacked 6 ministers. The president office gave no reason for the major reshuffle. A South African court backs succession of Zulu king, a challenge to the coronation of Prince Misuzulu Katiwalethini is rejected. It is all coming your way from Star Radio UK. EU denies this discrimination claims at Ukraine border. Really? Okay, Burkina strongman stages inauguration after transition plan. It's our story, it's making the rounds. When it comes to Nigeria, invasion, 140 others vote against Russia, Ukraine to get 5.2 billion lifeline. Now, Ogun contractor kills girlfriend, writes wife, commits, writes to wife and commits suicide. A former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jega, says Nigeria is in the process of a collapse. So that's the question that we do ask ourselves all the time. Should Nigeria disintegrate or should we leave it together and let the whole thing just collapse. As some people think that, well, things is falling apart because the center cannot hold. Just a minute to the top of the hour. Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. For Boko Haram, ISWAP terrorists killed as troops repel attacks in Bono. Now, when it comes to Ghana, one MPP MP struck down by stroke receiving treatment at ICUSA Ringetia alleges and says that, well, but for that fact, even if Adjosafo is brought back or whoever there's a by-election to get somebody to replace Adjosafo, the E-levy thing will not pass until there is a compromise. What do you think about all that? Yeah, more coming your way.
I just trusted chariots, but we have your name, oh Lord. Have faith in God, lean not on your own understanding.
Is this the time for this intellectual exercise? Supreme Court Judge to Baka Vamawa's lawyers. Well, I will bring you more on that front. And differ, but don't undermine our democracy, government is saying. Now, there was one other story that I really wanted to touch on. The Western Regional Minister in Ghana was going on to say the Western Regional Minister Kwabena Ochireda Mensa has described as foolish and misplaced appetite recent conversation over coups. Now, speaking at the 2-day ECOWAS Regional Sensitization Workshop in Takoradi, Mr. Dako Mensa said, I see those calling for a coup as foolish and misplaced appetite for one to call for such difficult times that we are all trying to overcome. But the question that I want to find out from you, if you're listening to me, I know people are advocating for democracy. Yes, let's go on. Let's vote for the people and let's wait. And then another, when it's 4 years or 5 years, whichever is applicable, they will go again and they will vote them out if you are not satisfied with their performance. But you know, there is a saying in the Bible. It says, should the foundation be destroyed, what would the righteous do? Now, if the righteous would be that foolish to sit down for the foundation to be destroyed before they say, okay, now let's go to God and go and pray that God will sort it out, then I think that the righteous need something else to be done to them. But it's the case where you see, I mean, the woeful squandering of public funds and misuse of public funds. And all the telltale signs that point to the fact that, look, this is something that when you see these signs, it means this is going to happen. You see clouds gathering at a particular that you know that rain is definitely going to be coming. And it's if you don't do something about it and the clouds continue to gather, there could be rainfall. And you say, hey, don't say that, don't say that. I will be in the ostrich, playing the ostrich. Well, Starr Radio UK. A minute after 11 the time. Let's now enjoy the rest of the music. It go happen. Whatever it is, it go happen. God will turn your life around. Enjoy it and I'll be with you. We'll be bringing me to life. I'll get to you in a moment.
Everybody say, it go happen. It go happen. It go happen. If I don't say it go happen, certainly. If I say it go happen. If I don't say it go happen, it go happen. It go happen. It go happen. Certainly. If I don't say it go happen. Yeah. It go happen, certainly. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Hold on. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Trust in God.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Hey!
happen.
Alright, let's do this part. It says, why yeah, alright, say, why yeah.
There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maidavale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows: Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God. He would never fail.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 6 minutes past the top of the hour. And it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. And at this juncture, you're sure to know that we got with us the one and only, and still bringing you the best when it comes to Nigeria, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, to you this morning. Let me say, morning to you, Yummy.
Well, it is a very good morning from this part of the globe. I say good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. We take you around the globe. I say welcome again as we're getting ready to give you all the latest news coming out of Nigeria. And I say 7 minutes past 11, the 3rd and the 3rd of 2022. So much is happening around the world that Starr Radio UK is about to kick it going.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
Well, as I always say, looking at the window view, it's very bright outside. We're doing very well. We give thanks, and we just have to be grateful, especially, when you're alive. There's so much that we can do, and there's so much that individuals can do to make this world a better place. So I'm doing very well.
Great. Now, before we go on to today's discussions, now a quick one from what happened yesterday, because I always want people who missed out to know what they are missing so that next time they join us. So on the Niger Voices, how was the program? What did we touch on? And what were the reactions from the various people who were listening to us?
Well, quite a lot. If you have not been part of us, joining us every Wednesday, we talk about issues affecting Nigerians, not just in Nigeria, but also the Nigerians outside the country. We focus, especially as the election is getting closer, we discuss issues of how this election might eventually either come true or not. We discuss about those that now looked at Nigeria and say maybe it is time now to divide the country, going through the peaceful resolution from around the globe. So we discuss that. We talk about those that also have issues that are being affected. So yesterday was all about, the focus from the African leaders in terms of their quick response to most of their citizens that got caught up in the situation back in Ukraine, where we saw, the marginalization of so many Africans, not just Nigerians, that lives in that part of the globe. So next week, we will continue on that issue. So if you have not been part of that, you might want to join us again next week, Wednesday, when we review all those issues.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. Okay, so let's go to the first story. One that is the last that you put, but I want to touch on that one first. But let me acknowledge Anthony Adedeji. Anthony, I hope you are doing very, very well wherever you are. I hope you are doing very, very well. But let's go back to Yomi. Now, the federal government is now commencing extradition proceedings against DCP Abba Kyari. That's quite an interesting one. Are they getting ready to get him out of the country?
Well, that shouldn't come as a surprise because we do know that, the extradition treaty of Abba Kyari is something that a lot of Nigerians have been waiting for. So let me give a background to that particular story for the benefit of those that are not part of Nigerians, or they are not from Nigeria, or those that are Nigerians that are probably, must have thought about it but probably forgot about it. The federal government has now commenced the move that will pave the way for the extradition of what should have been a super cop in Nigeria, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, DCP Abba Kyari, to answer to fraud allegation in the United States of America. Also, is currently facing allegation of cocaine that is part of those, drug cartel that brings drug through, from Ethiopia straight into Nigeria, which is currently being held by the NDLA. Abba Kyari, a once celebrated officer of the Nigerian police, is currently also emerged in a various criminal allegation, which he has previously won so many accolades as well for fighting. But following the arrest of somebody in Dubai, another fraudulent individual that lived in Dubai, living a very lavish life, only for us to realize that he wasn't using his money, he never had any investment, he never created any software, but he was actually using people's money to live a very false life that millions of Nigerians, were following him on a daily basis. This person is called Abbas Ramon, aka Hush Puppy. And the reason why the American wants Abba Kyari is because Ramon has mentioned his name as those that probably received part of the token or part of the corrupt money that he was spending as well. So following the arrest and imprisonment of Abbas Ramon, aka Hush Puppy, over a staggering about $1.1 million wire fraud, Ramon alleged implication of Abba Kyari, who was then the commander of the police intelligence response team from Dubai. Hush Puppy was making use of a police intelligence to deal with people that he believed, according to Abbas, was making effort for some of their transactions not to go through. So the person that could have done those dirty jobs, just as so many dirty police around the world, was Abba Kyari. So the Americans now are saying it is time that we want to speak to him. However, months after extradition request, the Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice, Mr. Abubakar Malami, has now disclosed that the federal government has filed an application for the extradition of this individual person.
Well, listeners, updates from Nigeria. The first story, quite an interesting one. But then look at this story. Now, we are looking at 2023. That is a year where Nigeria might go for elections. But a former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Atahiru Jaga, says that Nigeria is in the process of a collapse. Now, where or what information has he got to make such an assessment?
Well, it will not be the first time that we've seen or heard people say Nigeria is a failed state or Nigeria will collapse. These has always come up so many times. Let me go back to, before we touch on that, Nigeria is a failed state. The first step to restoring stability and also security is recognizing that the government has lost, the government has literally lost the control. This was put together by Robert I. Rockberg, the founder and the director of the Harvard Kennedy School Program on Instrat Conflict and Presidential Emeritus of the World Peace Foundation, John Campbell, a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, and likewise a former U.S. ambassador. This was said just last year, May 21st, that Nigeria is a failed state. Part of that article read, Nigeria has long teetered on the precipice of failure, but now unable to keep its citizens safe and secure. Nigeria has become a fully failed state of the critical geopolitical concern. Its failure matters because the peace and prosperity of Africa and preventing the spread of disorder and militancy around the globe depend on Nigeria. So now, the news that you've just talked about is coming from a former INEC commissioner known as Jega. He was one time also, the commissioner for INEC, the chairman for INEC, and what he's saying is exactly what millions of Nigerians are saying. Reason why people are saying that it is probably time that we look into whether Nigeria is a country that will work or Nigeria is unfit to be governed. I'm just trying to pick up that particular, headline. I think I lost that, but I'll probably pick it up from here. But what I can say is we do know that it is not the first time, like I did mention, that we've seen people discuss this issue. But Jega coming out yesterday to say that Nigeria, is coming to a total collapse is something that has already portrayed. I got that information here. The Nigeria in the process of total collapse. This is coming from the former INEC boss, Jega, and he was saying this, during a conversation that he heard, in Abuja, where most of them live anyway. The former chairman of the Independent and National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Aitaru Jega, yesterday said that Nigeria is in the process of collapsing, alleging that the reckless elite in the control of the governance process are blindly running the country aground. The former INEC boss stated this in Abuja at the 2022 Workers' Political Conference organized by the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, said, considering the current situation in the country, 2023 general election may be the make or the break echo moment.
That's quite a serious one, because it is the make or break echo moment. Then, because following another story that you posted, Sanusi, who is berating that civil servants, he said that civil servants for allowing politicians to think for them. But this is a country that we live in, or a continent, or that sub-region that we live, where the politicians wield more power than civil servants. So if the president says this is what we want to do, or the DSS is saying, what the Supreme Court, the courts are saying this is what has to be done, the DSS are saying that no, we wouldn't do it, we want to do things like that. Now, what do you think the civil servant?
Just take me off just for about a few seconds.
Okay,
I'm going to come back on.
Okay,
in just about a few seconds.
Yes, listeners, just bear with us, but post your comments, let your comments come through. There's question that I'm asking now is, now if you take into consideration the fact that when it comes to our form of governance system, okay, our form of democracy that we've been talking about, that we know that it's going to take us some time to get to where these ones have gotten to. But however, my question is for somebody to say that, look, the civil servants should not allow politicians to think for them. Then what would it? Because virtually they don't allow the civil servants to think for themselves or to make decisions. All the decisions are coming from the politicians. So what do you think? What do you think is going to go on when it comes to this? Let's go back to Yomi. Let's find out. Now, that statement that Sanusi made, and what the former INEC boss has also made, saying that, look, politicians are just ruining everything, and virtually civil servants are not sitting up. Now, the civil servants, I can tell you that they are in the position, they've got all the perks, but they've not got a say when it comes to laws in the country. What do you think?
Well, the civil servants haven't got the law, governing, but they are part of the corrupt system that have, brought Nigeria to where it is today. Let's go back to what Sanusi said. One of the reasons why he was removed as the emir, who is now a former emir of Kano, was because of some of his, artisans, or one of his, some of his, outspoken,
utterances,
not just the, utterances, yes, not against the, the Nigerian government precisely, but more into Kano, because Kano also have, vast amount of children that are roaming around the street, well, not educated, the Alimajiri. So, it doesn't go well with the Kano State governor, Ganjude, that we saw was touching dollars inside his Babariga, at some point with a video evidence. So he had to literally, take him off and bring somebody that might be a stooge to him. Sanusi, I've had the opportunity to be in the same room with him, speaking. This was about three years ago, if I can remember, here in London. And you could see that as much as he also was at one time a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria during, the Jonathan, and we could see how he also, had his own fault. But that is not where we want to go this morning. He did say, and I quote, Nigeria is in this current mess because of the civil servants allow politicians to think for them. You would expect that the civil servants, that are not politicians, but what we are seeing now is more civil servants have now become a contractor of their own. They've now become, the manipulation between them and the politicians. Because if you look at Nigeria and most other countries around the world, the civil servants do know where the money goes through, do know where the project is meant to be executed, and they do work in line with the politicians. So now, more civil servants have become a contractor and a businessman and businesswoman of their own. And we've seen the cases sometimes coming up with the EFCC, running after them. Speaking at the closing ceremony of the AIG, the Public Leaders Program class of 2021 held yesterday in the conference hall, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Abuja, the former CBN governor said, the civil servants are supposed to think for the politicians. We are in this mess because the civil servants have now allowed the politicians to think for them.
Well, listeners, do you think that the politicians, the civil servants can actually think for the politicians and say that these are, looking at this strategy, we think that when you implement this, that will help the economy and stuff like that, when we know that the politicians have got their own ulterior motive to, to wield so much power, get more power, get power drunk, and make sure that they feed themselves there forever and ever and their generation. What do you think about all that? We want to hear from you. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's go back to Mr. Olayomi in our North London studios and let's continue with the updates. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Archie. As we do know, like I say, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, will be arriving in London precisely maybe tomorrow, if he's probably not on his way yet back to London for a 2-week break. So quite a lot is happening. Air Peace, Ukraine war. Air Peace deploy aircraft, to evacuate Nigerians, because we do know that the Nigerian government have now released about 3.4 billion naira to bring back all the Nigerians that are stuck within the borderline of Poland and Romania, in about 2,000 or thereabout of them that are already on the system. The Nigerians' leading airline, Air Peace, has deployed its aircraft to evacuate Nigerians who are stranded in Europe as a result of the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. This is the first batch to be evacuated since the war broke out. The aircraft departed Nigeria at about 2 a.m. today for Warsaw, Poland. It will be recalled that the federal government engaged Air Peace and another airline to evacuate over 2,000 Nigerian nationals from neighboring countries such as Poland, Romania, Hungary, and Slovakia. So we'll continue to monitor that and see how quickly those Nigerians that probably want to come back home. Remember, not every one of them want to come back home, but those that want to come back must be brought back to Nigeria as quickly as possible, especially with so much happening. With the Electoral Act signed, notice of elections released. Now that they've signed this Electoral Act, these articles put together by Samuel Ajayi says, President Muhammadu Buhari last week Friday signed the amended Electoral Act into law. A development has set the tone for the hope of a credible elections in 2023. This was after he has twice turned down the same bill on 2 different grounds, to which corrections were eventually affected. A few days after, the INEC also released the notice of elections and schedule of activities, which equally might have scope to the stage for what shapes the campaign will assume, as well as preparation for individuals and political parties ahead of the 2023 polls. Just as also, Jega, the former INEC, says that he's not too sure whether an election will hold based on what he can see. Nigeria in the process of total collapse. This is coming from the INEC boss. The former INEC boss says the reckless elite in the control of governance blindly running control the country aground. The former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Aitaru Jega, said yesterday the process Nigeria is in the process of collapsing, alleging that the reckless elite in the country are doing the worst to already bring the country aground. So we are going to be following all that as well. So let's touch more on some other headline. It's 24 minutes past 11 this morning. Anti-open grazing Bayelsa to set up enforcement teams in each of the local government as well. Cost of governance, a threat to Nigerian development. Again, the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, also has said the same thing, that the cost of governance in Nigeria seems to be too much. The former governor of Anambra State and the 2003 to 2011, and also the vice president rather during the 2019 election under the PDP, Mr. Peter Obi has reiterated his popular thesis that the Nigerian state will go nowhere in development until it finds solution to the wastage of public funds and the high cost of governance at all levels. There's a video already circulating on the social media when one of those working with the government, a woman somewhere in the southwest, had a police officer carrying a plate of jollof rice and fried rice and some chicken and egg, just behind the lady. And this is part of the abuse that we do talk about. I mean, when we do have a lot of crimes happening across the country, that we need a police officer to be on the street, making sure that those crimes can be dealt with as quickly as possible. I'm going to take two more because of time constraint this morning and come back again to you in the studio. What exactly do Nigerians want from Indigo? That is also coming from the headline this morning. So let's touch on that quickly because we do know that there is this information that a lot of people believe that the Igbo have not been well represented in this country for a very long time. Would the election be shifted to that part of the southeast, or will they continue to use the military to create the genocide that is currently underreported as we speak right now? The usual refrain on the lips of Nigerian leaders, particularly those who successfully persecuted the brutal civil war against the breakaway Biafran Republic, is the indivisibility of the country. This article was put together by Ikechukwu Amechi, and it says, and I quote, one of the General Ibrahim Babangida in an interview with Arise Television last year August to mark his 80th birthday put it rather bluntly. When we were in the military, we talk about certain issues about Nigeria. The unity of Nigeria, as far as we are concerned, was a settled issue. While it would have been good if the unity of Nigeria was a settled issue, happenings in the country tend to suggest otherwise, unless the unity Babangida and his ill talk about is agreement by those who won the war to exclude those that lost. Otherwise, what kind of unity is in the country where people that constitute a significant percentage of the population are hate and dispersed, not for any crime committed, but for a simple being who they are, Igbo? Two recent events prompted this reflection. First was the shameful conversion of the scarred altar of the god by the Catholic priest as launchpad for his victory against the Igbo congregant in his parish. On Sunday, February 6th, Reverend Father James Anu, the priest in charge of the Holy Trinity Catholic Church in Ikorodu, Lagos, stated abruptly, without provocation, stopped the singing of the soul lighting Igbo chorus and songs during the service he was conducting. And this was in a video that went viral. The visibly angry clerk pontificated that the essence of Indigo must be curtailed if they are to be kept from dominating other people in this parish. And you could see, and that was the crime of the Igbo parishioners. They were joyfully singing and dancing to the altar of the god during the second collation. But you can see that also that the Biafra war, that is still something that a lot of the Igbo discuss and talk about. And as we do know, the question is, from one of the former senator Adeyeye, during his time as the senator, says, do we have peace, unity, and progress in Nigeria? I'm not sure myself that we have those three things currently in the country. 28 minutes past 11 is Starr Radio UK, the third of 2022. I'll come back slightly again to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, Starr Radio UK, Mr. Olayomi keep bringing you updates from Nigeria, from our North London studios, and I'm Archie here in the South studios. Now, interestingly, Yomi, you did talk about a statement that Babangida celebrating his 80th birthday made, and you were talking about the fact that he was saying that the unity, it was something that they discussed during the military era. Ooh. I didn't get that.
I said, and that has been settled according to them.
Yeah, they said that was a settled situation. I mean, there was nothing to go back on. So, what in his mind does he think has changed, and what is the way forward? Can you actually read his mind?
Well, somebody like Babangida is one of the most, skillful, former military dictator that was able to manipulate millions of Nigerians. People thought during his era, there was a flow cash of money, but again, while they were doing that, they were probably also doing other things. Remember, it was the same person that guaranteed, the late Chief M.K. Abiola that was killed, after the 1993, one of the most fairest election. I remember the wife of, Babangida, MKO, that has been on interview frequently. We'll see if we can bring her on Star Radio UK very soon. Because she's been very outspoken, in the last couple of weeks, said Babangida promised that, the election, after whoever win will be given back. So you are not going to be surprised with how these former military men have been able to manipulate, the millions of Nigerians using either the military tactics, just as we are discussing the fraudulent 1999 military decree that was put on millions of Nigerians that is still being discussed today. So Babangida and his court knew what they were doing, especially, when they keep saying that, the unity of the country has already been, done, and nobody can say anything to it. But a lot of Nigerians are now asking, who are we really? And are we Nigerians in the first place, or was it just a country that was created in 1914 by the creator then, because of their own economic reason, nobody else than the Great Britain, when the Lugard, the former military administrator, decided that the northern part of the country was not making enough, and they had to join both the southeast and the southwest. And the argument a lot of people always say as well is, it was the Igbo that started the coup that led to, the collapse of the independent that we got, which was the regional government. So if nobody has done that, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But my argument again is, if we have not been given the 1914, everybody would have been in their different region, and nobody would have done any coup in another man's country.
Well, Mr. Kofi Ali has been saying something that the African continent is the white man's quality is garden on his farm, and he decided, or his warehouse, they decided to group them the way they want, knowing or looking at what they are going to get out of that, and that seems to be what has happened. But which part of the country does Babangida hail from?
It's from Mina.
Mina, is it in the north or is it in the south?
The north.
Okay. Because why I ask that is because I want to find out how has he been in the negotiation. I mean, trying to talk peace. I mean, with what is going on at the moment, the disparity in how economy in various places and security. He
has always said that the youths, just like Obasanjo is saying the same thing. That the youth has the zeal to do what they have to do to keep the country together. I believe that they've done their parts. Babangida is somebody that has played his own role, just like Obasanjo. So it is entirely to all those that still believe to keep the country, or those that still say that the country is now, negotiable, and that is something that more people are discussing on a daily basis.
Now, one other one before we move on to what is happening on the social media and other stories. Now, when it comes to the unity of the country. Now, the youth, because we are looking at the youth now, maybe the old people, they've got something in their head. But do you think that the youth from the north, some of them are advocating for the union to still remain, or they are also of the view that, look, with what is happening, let everybody go? What is the mind? What's the mind of the youth in the country? Especially, let's talk about the north, and then we'll talk about the east, and then we'll talk about the southeast and the southwest.
Okay, I'm just picking up one of our listeners says, Babangida is a pure Hausa man from Niger State. Also, Babangida, the most dreaded military leader in the history of Nigeria. That is coming from one of our comments from the social media on YouTube here. Also, like you did ask, yes, there's still millions of the people from the northern part of the country that believe that as millions of those in the southwest and the southeast that keep Nigeria together is the best way. But keeping Nigeria together with no unity, peace, and progress is next the question that other people are asking, that, how do we keep a country together when already a certain part of the country, the majority, have literally also been marginalized and suppressed. And that is also the argument that we're better off on our own, and then we can work as a neighboring country rather than being in a country called Nigeria that is not working for almost every Nigerian today.
Interesting. Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria. Okay, now Yomi, let's move to other stories, that if there are any, and then what is happening on the social media platform.
Let's go straight to the social media. The world focused on Russia versus Ukraine war, but Nigerian military are killing innocent Biafrans, the genocide at UN right. This is coming from Mr. Echidimi at Abuchi Echidimi. We do know that, and these are a lot of different evidence, video, and images to indicate that the Nigerian government, military has been creating a lot of havoc, in Southeast, and this is something that we want the United Nations and the United Nations human rights to look into as quickly as possible before it becomes something very, very out of control. Also, Kanrowi on Twitter says, America does not practice democracy, it practices hypocrisy. Nigeria does not practice federalism, it practices hypocrisy. Western hegemony is an empire of lies and propaganda. Putin was right. So you can always see that there's always going to be different views, especially what is happening. I'm going to take two more because of time. Elochukwu Ohage, Nigerian military killed about 5 people and set a lot of houses on fire in Ebonyi State. This was some 15 hours ago. Hashtag the genocide in the Igbo land. So the last one is coming from, we've now started seeing a bit of road blockage, which I might be discussing tomorrow, especially that the students are still on strike, and their argument is, if the lecturers doesn't come back to university, we will block most of the road network. Even the president of the Nigerian Association of Students did say that during the conversation with the minister, that they will not have any other option, to expand, the blockage, which we've already seen in Akure and Cross River State, and we continue to monitor. Nigerians are already facing a huge when it comes to the price of the petrol. As at this morning, people have been paying up to 300 to 400 to 700 on the black market. That is even if it's available. Yesterday, I saw a video where people have to literally remove their petrol tank to take it to the petrol station to get petrol in a country that is meant to be the 6th largest crude oil. Well, they are not producing, but we do have it, because if you use the word producing, that means we're probably lying, because the 4 refineries are not working, and that is exactly what is happening. People remove their petrol tank to take it to the petrol station to get it filled and put it back on and probably drive it off.
But that's dangerous, Jesus. Because to remove the petrol tank from underneath the car and then or the lorry and then put it on maybe a trailer or something and push it or hold it, push it to the filling station and fill it and then carry it and come and oh my goodness.
Yeah, because you can no longer drive your car there, so you have to remove the petrol tank and take it there. And imagine different cars have different petrol tank. And there was a particular one that came in, and I myself was just kind of a bit of busting to laugh. I'll send a video to you, so maybe you can be able to show that before the end of the program.
Wow, listeners, these are some of the stories happening in Africa and this time around in Nigeria, but I'm going to bring you a lot more. Yomi, before we go.
Well, you don't have to go anywhere because, Archie still have the rest of the program. 12 p.m. they'll be opening the phone line. I'll be back again same time tomorrow, but the only way you can stay tuned is just don't touch the dial. It is Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, that was Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you updates from Nigeria and quite some interesting stories that he's touched on. But let's take a music break. Once we come back, we continue with the show. Stay tuned. Don't you go away.
To go. I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. I want to know which way Nigeria. years after independence, we still find it hard to start. How long shall we be patient before we reach the promised land? Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Every little thing that goes wrong, we start to blame the government. We know everything that goes wrong because we are part of the government. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Tell me. Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Inefficiency and indiscipline is ruining the country now. Corruption here, there and everywhere. Inflation is soaring high. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure, sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? We made mistakes during the oil boom, not knowing that was our doom. Some people now have everything, while many, many have nothing. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Green revolution is a reality. Let's give it a chance to grow. Let's join our hands to farm the land so we can have enough food to show. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Our ambition to be millionaires is running the country down.
This is Starr Radio UK.
And to live in the air. Oh, let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, we want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? Remember that a simple step is the beginning of a million miles. Let's start right now.
This is Starr Radio
To
UK.
make the country smile. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't die. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh sure. I want to know. Yes, I want to know.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Heaven and earth will pass away. It is written in the book of God. The good people will surely find their ways, and the meek will inherit the world. Let's save Nigeria, so Nigeria won't fall. Which way Nigeria? Which way? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah. I want to know. We want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading to? We serve a miracle working God. There is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maidavale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows. Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God. He will never fail.
Welcome to Gabby Dave Global. We are a UK-based online e-commerce store, the first of its kind with license to trade in African products. Some of the products are clothing brands and all beauty accessories, hair and beauty brands, natural aphrodisiacs, processed and dried unprocessed food. Our mission at Gabby Dave is to connect African and Caribbean businesses to customers globally. At Gabby Dave, we ensure our sellers get the best deal for their products. We are not just here to help you reach a wider audience. We are also a distribution center to support business growth by fulfilling orders to your customers from our warehouse, making sure customers receive their products on time. We are inviting all Black-owned businesses to trade on our platform because we strongly believe Africans have a unique brand the customer would appreciate globally. So get in touch today and let us make your product and business go far. Here are some of the benefits of using Gabby Dave Global. User-friendly platform, track your shipment, online support, transparent process, multiple SKUs, multiple products, a platform that encourages manufacturers as well as traders. Our marketing and PR interventions amplifies yours. Organized products and categories for easy access and navigation. Access to global community, especially within UK and Europe.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 14 minutes to the top of the hour, and it is the Thursday morning show that is coming your way. Okay, so now in the next 15 minutes, or call it in the next 13 minutes, I'll be opening the lines for you to join in the conversation wherever you might find yourself across the globe. Share with us what you think about issues that is being discussed. But top of the agenda is what is happening in Ukraine. Is there a way back? Is there a way back with the sanctions and the West? I mean, virtually, call it, let me put it this way, majority of countries against the invasion that is taking place. Well, the Russians are saying that is not an invasion, it's just a military exercise that they are undertaking to forestall security. Okay, that's what some says. Others will. But now, interestingly, when the USSR, was dissolved, now there were various countries. Now, Ukraine was one of the countries that wielded lots of nuclear warheads. Okay, now we had Russia, America, like the United States, and the United Kingdom talking Ukraine to give out its nuclear warheads or destroy them, and assuring them of security. Now, so they destroyed them. That is why Ukraine has not got that. Okay, so if the NATO or the US and the UK who are championing the cause, in the forefront at the moment, helping the Ukrainians, are saying that, well, we don't want to be part of the this thing because you don't belong to NATO, you don't belong to even the EU, let me put it that way, and therefore we don't want to come back with you. Okay, boots on the ground, or whatever, if it's air or whatever, or by sea or whatever that they're going to use to help them fight it, then it is a betrayal on them. And if it's a betrayal on them, my question now is, what would the other countries that are being spoken to or talked into, maybe for going or destroying their nuclear warheads, what would be going on in their heads? It's just a matter of time that when somebody who is stronger, who has got that, knowing that now you don't have it, come to hold your neck, and then you'll be there. What would North Korea do? And if Iran has now got it, what would they do? And what about other countries who are also now finding ways and means to also get itself nuclear power or nuclear warheads? What do you think is going to happen there? I want to have your take on that once the lines are open. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 10 minutes past the top of the hour. And it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Okay, so now let's move on to some other stories that is making the rounds here in the UK, and then we will move on to other parts of the world as well. Now, interestingly, here in the UK, the culture secretary, the culture secretary or minister is saying that, well, culture is the third front in Ukraine war, says Doris. Now, culture and sports can be as effective as economic sanction in isolation. So that means that say the games, when it comes to sports, virtually all the sports now, Formula 1, football, Olympics, now they've come out to say that, Lord, they cannot participate in the Winter Olympics, what do you call that, the one that's going to be taking place. I've forgotten the name that is given to that. Now they cannot participate in it. So all those things, now putting them together, do you think it's helping the cause at all? And the question that I put across earlier on with the promises that Russia, United States, United Kingdom gave to Ukraine to forgo their nuclear warheads, destroy them, and now finding themselves in a vulnerable position where another one of the three that promised them protection and security have come against them. Do you think, what assurance that it gives to other countries who are also developing or have developed and are being talked into living it or destroying it? What do you think will go on in their heads? Now, it's not too late for Putin to withdraw, Defense Secretary is saying. Now, are you sure about that? Yesterday or this morning, we have one of the areas that has fallen, one of the cities that has fallen. But it's not too late for Vladimir Putin to end his invasion of Ukraine. UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace has said in a message to the Russian President, Mr. Wallace said, Mr. Putin is risking his nation being isolated for decades to come if he does not withdraw troops. Now, he also said thermobaric weapons have been deployed. Interesting. And that he worried how far Russia will go in the future. Now, Wednesday, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson said Mr. Putin was already responsible for war crimes in Ukraine. The Defense Secretary was speaking alongside his Estonian counterpart, Kel Lanet, at a press conference in the country's capital, Tallinn, as part of a visit to the NATO allies. Mr. Wallace said, the consequences of what we are seeing in Ukraine will ripple through Europe and NATO for not just weeks, but months and years to come. And one of the ripple effect is what will other countries who hope to have this nuclear warhead, so that we all sit down and I have mine on the table and yours on the table, and we say, bring it on. That negotiating power when it comes to war. Now, do you think other countries will forgo theirs? I want to hear from you. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In the UK front, still here, appeal to help refugees from war in Ukraine. That's some of the stories making the rounds here. An appeal is being launched by the UK Disaster Emergency Committee to help the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians fleeing their country. Now, 15 UK aid agencies, including the British Red Cross, Oxfam, and Save the Children, are joining together to ask the public to donate. Now, how many homes in Ukraine have been destroyed, and water supplies, hospitals, and schools have been hit the DEC says. Now, the charities say people urgently need food, water, shelter, and medical care. Now, public donation to the appeal will be doubled by the UK government up to a total of £20 million. All coming your way from Starr Radio UK, which is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. All right then. Now moving on to some other stories still here in the UK front. Now a year on after Sarah Everard's death, now do you think women feel more secure when they are on the streets at night, wherever they are? The family of Sarah Everard has said their lives have changed forever 1 year after her murder. Now, Miss Everard, 33, was kidnapped in South London on the 3rd of March 2021 as she was walking home from a friend's house. Her body was found a week later. The story says the Met Police Officer Wayne Cousins pleaded guilty to her murder and was sentenced to a whole life term. The marketing executive family said they remember her today as every day with all our love. The firearms officer Cousins abducted Miss Everard in Clapham under the guise of a fake arrest for breaching coronavirus guidelines and drove her away in a car he had hired. Her body was found in a woodland near Ashford, Kent, meters from land owned by Cousins. She had been raped and strangled. The case sparked national outrage and calls for more action to tackle violence against women. Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. One other story from the UK front, and then we can take a break and go to the international scenes and let's look at some of the stories in the UK. Now, polls have opened in Birmingham, Eddington by election. Now, voters in Birmingham, Eddington constituency in England are casting their ballots for a new MP in a by-election. The vote follows the death of Labour's Jack Drummy in January, age 73. He had held his seat since 2010 and entered politics through the union movement as a leading figure in the Transport and General Workers Union. A total of 12 candidates are standing, with polling stations open between 07 and 22 hours. The result is due to be announced on Friday. Now, if you are there listening to us, Robert Alden, Conservative Party; David Bishop, Militant Pass Elvis Party. Okay, David Bishop is in the Militant Pass Elvis Party. Oh, that's an interesting party. David Brooks, Reform UK; Lee Doug, Liberal Democrats; Paulette Hamilton, Labour Party; Siobhan Harper Nunes, Green Party; Clifton Holmes, Independent Party, Independent candidate; Michael Litwich, Independent; Mel Bondia, Christian People's Alliance; Dave Nellis, Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition; Thomas O'Rourke, Independent; and Sir Nos the Good Night, the official Monster Raven Rooney Party. They are also saying that, well, we've also thrown our hats in it. Now, what do you think is going to happen there? Do you think Labour is going to still hold on to that seat, or are they going to lose it with all this party gate now overshadowed by what is happening in Russia? It looks like, well, the government seems to be doing something right, so maybe it will end up that Labour might lose it. Now, what do you think? I will want to know more from that. It's Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me announce the lines open. If you want to call into the program, onto the program, it's 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. And those of you in the US, Canada, Caribbean area, it is 001-718-303-2737, 001-718-303-2737. You can text or WhatsApp me, us here on the show. It is 0753-966-1744, 0753-966-1744. Or you can also go on to what? Tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is @Starr Radio UK. And if you want to email, it is www.info@starradiouk.com. My apologies, info@starradiouk.com. Some distraction going on there, but whatever it is, let us hear from you. We want to know what you think about the whole issue and what is going on. It is Star Radio UK. We take a commercial break and we come back to you this evening exactly at 7 o'clock. KB Bossman will be coming your way, and Vicky Nito will be coming your way with the property hour, but it will be preceded by the repeat broadcast of BB Means Business exactly at 6 o'clock. So make a date on all those fronts. It is Star Radio, okay? Your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And let me say good afternoon to Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin. Kofi, how are you doing, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Nice to hear your voice once again. Good.
Oh, thank you for having me back. I just escaped from the Republic.
Welcome back to the Republic.
No, this is the kingdom. I came from the Republic.
Oh, you went to the Republic. Now you're back in the kingdom. Oh, okay. Good. Welcome back there.
I escaped.
You escaped. Well, there's no war here, you know.
I escaped from the Republic banana.
Well.
Now,
go on.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Everybody's crying. Prices have changed. Things have changed. Life is becoming hard. You know, please excuse my language, and I'm sure my listeners will forgive me.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a hole, you're already in a hole before the shit started. So what are you complaining about? You're in the shit hole and the shit started. You just have to get on with it. You see, for some reason, you understand, across the African so-called continent, and ECOWAS to be specific, we are misunderstanding certain realities of life. When you say you are independent, is that not true? Independent in what? You say you are politically independent, is that not true?
Yeah.
Britain was controlling us, so we don't want to be part of Britain again. So politically we are independent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our minister then come to read his budget. What is the minister reading? What is the budget? It's economics, is that not true?
That's right.
I'll build 1 million houses. Is that not true? Now, the houses, is he going to use his teeth to build them?
No.
Is it not technology he needs to build the houses, modern houses? So can you see that our economy is struggling? Our politicians are at the mercy of the Europeans. Because if you are not technologically independent, then you cannot be economically independent. Even to farm.
Sure.
And in these days where everything is controlled by technology. And when you are not economically independent, how can you be politically independent? You see? So, I think we should be learning from what is happening. Our technological dependency has destroyed everything we even had at the time we say we had independence. Now, if something happened to Europe, we feel the shock. Whatever happened in Europe, it's like it happened to us directly. It means we catch cold. Because we are technologically dependent on this Europe. When you say foreign investment, do you understand?
Yeah.
Foreign investment. What is the foreign investment about? is foreign investment is always about technological investment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Technologically, coming with your tools, you understand, and coming to build things. Our debt is skyrocketing. What are we talking about here? When are we going to be wake up and be right? Hello.
Okay, listener, just bear with us. Kofi is working and trying to enjoy the program as well. Okay, so wherever you are, just stay tuned. Don't you go away whilst we try to see whether we can get him back on. Hello, Kofi. Hello, Kofi. Okay, I think his line is dropped. Don't you worry. When he has the chance to come on, we will allow him to come on to the show. Now, he was talking about the fact that we don't just need political independence, but we need economic independence and call it technological independence as well. Did we? Well, all these years that we've had our independence, African countries can boast of whatever, but we've never had our own dependency on how to get our own maybe machinery or tools in every. We have some that it's all manual. We produce cutlass, right? And hose, but when it comes to using technology to, in farming, we've not been able to develop that. But well, let's see what happens. We've got Kojo D, who has also joined us from South London. Kojo, good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, actually. The West doesn't like what Kofi is saying, so they cut him off. He's talking too much about technology, and he wants to enjoy their technology. So let's take him off. Interesting. Make everyone happy. Yeah, but on more serious issues, I think the world is more interdependent on each other now. So if you look at even the war ongoing in Ukraine war, the reason why Russia at the moment is having a bit of problem is the sanctions, and because they also the world depend on each other. So invariably, even if we improve on the technology back in African countries, we will still be interconnected with Western countries and to some extent with China. China is the biggest country that is connected with Western technology. And they've used a lot of that Western technology to develop the country. And big technology firms all have their presence in China. So if you're talking about Apple has their big plans in China. So you can have that help China also to develop to some extent. So if we really want to reach that level of development, then we have to harness whatever technology is available in the West and improve on it and let our systems be interconnected with them. That is the only way we can be fully harness the advantages that good technology brings and develop our nation. So again, I think the other thing Kofi was trying to say is that we should be our industries should be also developed. But as it appears, our industrial infrastructure is non-existent. So it's quite difficult for that sector to develop to support the economy. So so that's true. With most the UK has also found itself partly in that situation because of over-reliance on industries in places like Germany and China. So but what has made the UK much more in a better position than most places is that UK has become the hub of the financial sector. So every money going through any part of the world is coming through the UK. So all kinds of investment will be funneled through the UK. So UK makes money as a result of that. And UK also has a small-based industry, highly skilled technological industries. So thereby, they also develop in that sector. So you have small industries such as the IT industry, which doesn't require massive infrastructure. You have aerospace industry that doesn't require massive infrastructure. They are all based somewhere in the UK. So that helps. So in a nutshell, African countries should be looking towards what countries like Singapore and South Korea have done. They harness the opportunities that technology brings to developing their economy. So, in a way, we should be looking towards those countries to be able to do it.
Well, listeners, it's Starr Radio UK. If you're listening to us, do you think that's the way forward? I mean, you have a whole teaching hospital in Ghana where maybe a scan cannot be conducted there. Why? Because the scan machine, or maybe one of the machines is broken down, and for ages they will not repair it, and therefore people have to go to the private entity to do that. Now, if you look at all those things that we are not able to even take care of the little that we have, now, what do you think? What do you think? Where will we be? But well, let's leave that for a time being, and let's move on straight to what is happening and some background information that I was looking at the day yesterday whilst I was out there. Now, interestingly, the UK, the US, and Russia were the ones that told Ukraine to give up its nuclear warheads, because they had lots. When it comes to Europe, they were one of the countries that had lots of it, and they assured them of security. Now, this is what we are seeing, because I'm looking at it that Ukraine is not part of NATO. Ukraine is not even part of the European Union yet. So, would they, because you remember, I think Monday, when the Prime Minister was in Poland or one of those countries, and there was a press conference, and there was one of the journalists who hails from Ukraine who was posing the question. Now, a follow-up to that statement that she made, or that question that she put across, she was saying that it is the UK and the US have to step in with what? Having their military might on the ground, boots on the ground to do, because they were the one who have failed them. Because they made them give away their nuclear warheads. Because if they had their nuclear warheads, it would have been a different ball game altogether. Now, what do you think about that?
I think we raised a similar issue on the program. We did raise it when the war started last week. We did say we raised it on the program, if I remember very rightly. It was a Thursday or Friday. We raised it. We did say that, look, the Ukraine was convinced to give up its nuclear warheads for protection. We said, the three most powerful nations that convinced them to do it, one of them is effectively attacking them. So what are you going to do? One of the people involved in convincing Ukraine to give up the nuclear head is the one attacking them. That makes it quite difficult for the other two to say, oh, we also want to join in a fight.
But people are saying that, look, that journalist, she's so bitter about it, because she's saying, you promised us, that when it comes to security, you're going to step in.
Yeah, but it was a three-way promise. So if one person breaks the promise, the two cannot go and fight the other person who is breaking the promise. That is the situation. And again, they don't really want to come into confrontation with the other person who had broken the promise.
Okay.
So I think the word we used on Friday was that they are caught between a rock and a hard place. For those other two countries, for the US, in fact, there were four countries, four in general. It was US, France,
Russia, UK, and yeah,
those four, and three of them really don't want to engage in a warfare. As President Biden put it in a State of the Nation's address,
the
only way they have now is sanctions. I mean, because if they wanted to go into war, it becomes a third world war. So they don't want to really do that. And I think she understands it, but it's a difficult prospect, and it's an emotionally charged kind of thing, because sitting back and see your own people being slaughtered, yeah, what would you do? What would you really do? I mean, if you're a journalist, if you find yourself in a meeting, what would you do? You want to put it across to them and say, look, you gave us a promise, you must do by the promise. But the fact still remains that there were 4 people who gave the promise, and 1 person has broken the promise. So is the other 3 going to hold the other one and say, we will fight you? No, I think on this instance, especially if you are dealing with Putin, who at the moment, nobody knows what is in his head. So it becomes a very, very, very dangerous prospect. So the only weapon they have is economic sanctions. And already people were talking about Putin having $6 billion dollars.
They say there are some are saying that he's one of the richest. Yesterday I was reading some analysis that he's the richest person.
No, they kept saying that, but some of the facts they are pointing to that he's the richest man. I mean, some of those buildings are state buildings that he lives in. I mean, when he dies and goes, the next person will
even if he loses power, the next person will.
So those are not his property. So I've seen those things being pointed out, but they are not his property. How big that still doesn't remove the element of he being rich. He is rich, but the properties people are citing as his own, it's not his own. They are state property. So we put that in context. That some of those, like he lives in the Kremlin. The Kremlin is a state property. He lives in another presidential suite. It's a state property. So he has a presidential villa. It's a state property. Just like we have the Checkers and Downing Street here. I mean, we had a number of properties here that the Prime Minister can live in. But those are not his property. I've seen some people saying those things. But he invariably is rich. But some of those properties are not owned privately by him. And like all other presidents, they get sometimes being taken care of by rich people. And Boris Johnson too has found himself in some of those allegations in the past, where somebody has paid for his holiday. Some people, somebody
for refurbishment, even refurbishment.
So you can understand, why people will say that. But that said, the 600 billion that Putin is saving up for Russia, that money is frozen. He can't even have access to it. So I say that to say that the West hasn't got. The only weapon that Western countries have now is economic sanctions. And it appears that China, who we think will go along with Russia, is not.
Because they are also looking at the repercussion. Should they do so and then they are added there, it will cost them a great deal. And they don't want to be in part.
Exactly. So now, the last thing I heard, China has actually sent out a clear message that it is not going to be part of this Russian invasion. They have consistently abstained from the votes. Previously, they would have voted alongside Russia. But they've abstained from the vote to give Russia a clear-cut message that, look, we are not happy. We want to remain neutral, but however, we can benefit from you. But if there are economic sanctions on you, how is China even going to benefit from if there are economic sanctions? How is Russia going to even access some of the money? I mean, although the ban is not a blanket ban, so things like oil and gas, they could still sell and make money. But the bulk of the economy is hemorrhaging. How do you survive when 40% of your currency devalues overnight? When your stock exchange is almost collapsed? When your banks lose assets up to about 80%? Your money is frozen. And you're wasting money on a daily basis to pursue a war. How long can you go? 10 years? Yes, probably. But after that, how long can you go?
Yeah.
So that is the only weapon currently that it is hurting them. It's actually hurting them. Yeah, because if you listen to the foreign minister, he made a statement yesterday on Al Jazeera that they didn't even expect that their people will be banned from sporting activities.
Yeah.
So that has also gone a long way to hurt them because all their sports people have been banned from any sport
all the sports.
in the world.
Yeah.
You can't leave just like and just remember the Paralympics is being held.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's starting tomorrow.
It's starting in China.
Yeah.
And China didn't say anything. China went along with the ban.
Yeah.
So China indirectly is giving them a message. And one of the things China also said after they talk about they don't want to interfere in all that, they concluded by saying the Cold War is finished. So why are they having a jive? Are they having a jive at Russia? They don't say it directly. They said the Cold War is ended. There's no Cold War.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult position. Both parties, let me say, Western countries and Russia find itself in. Yeah. So there has to be an outcome to this.
Yeah.
And we don't even know how the outcome will be. Now, everybody who supports Russia, so you found countries like Belarus who are also being sanctioned.
They are being sanctioned. Yeah. They've rounded them all in as well. So
so you can see any country that decides to support Russia, bam, sanctioned. So Mali should be very
Mali, Kojo says that part of the world, they are already in the S4. So what did they give them monkeys about?
Exactly. Yeah, so that is the situation. I'm not sure how the Western country, binding on anybody, is not going to have a confrontation, but literally with Russia. They won't do it. They don't want to do it. They are not even contemplating.
Yeah, because they don't want it to escalate. It could get into a third world war, which they are not prepared for that to happen. Okay.
And people are talking about which a no-fly zone. Russia is not flying even planes. They're not even flying their planes. They go into Ukraine helicopters and the armored vehicles. They are not flying, and they are shooting the missiles from across the border. So, a no-flying zone
will not have any impact.
No effect.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. 12:22 the time. The morning show. I have Kojo D in South London. Earlier on we had Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, but I think he's busy working. So he's been. Kojo said that because he said that we didn't have we have to develop our own tools. They decided to say, okay, we cut our tools. Let's see what is happening. That's just by way of a joke. Yeah. So when Kofi has time, he was going to join us once again. But now some breaking news coming through say that we are being completely cut off. Desperation in besieged Mariupol as Russian shelling goes on and supplies dwindle. Do you think that we got to a point of no return where maybe negotiating, because I know that today there is some meeting that's a peace that is going on in Belarus, Belarusian border with Ukraine, but I don't know what you think is going to happen. Have you got to a point of no return or?
Well, Putin is not going to give up easily. So I think Ukraine knows that by now. And the places that Putin has taken, Putin is not going to give it up. I mean, we know from Crimea, although people say Crimea is 80% Russian, but it was a Ukrainian territory.
Yeah.
So they didn't give it up. So if you apply the same analogy to the border areas like Kherson, where they are taking, and they are actually trying to take Kharkiv. Some people say Kharkiv, but I think it's Kharkiv, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to take that region. Once he takes it, he's not going to give it up. I mean, because that is close to the border. So some territory of Ukraine, if there is even a peace talk and everything settles, some territory of Ukraine Russia is not going to cede it over once they've taken it. So I think Ukraine will know that by now. No matter how they fight it, they've surrounded some of that key port of Kherson. So if they manage to take Kharkiv, it will be the same situation.
Yeah.
They're not going to give it up. So that's the situation as it's going to be, because they're going to leave their soldiers in there.
But when it comes to the negotiation, I mean, assuming this war is over and or they decide, okay, let's stop what you are doing, okay, because Russia is looking at whether a year, 2 or 10 years, as we were saying, that the sanctions is going to impact, I mean, negatively on their economy and everything. So they think that whoa, okay, maybe after a second thought, let's go back. Now, don't you think that maybe the Western world or NATO and all this are going to say that, look, you have to move your troops from there, or else more sanctions will come on? Don't you think that they will force them to move? And with the fact that Russians themselves, ordinary Russians, are feeling the pinch at the moment.
Well, the West might say that Russia is not going to give up. I mean, because they think those places hold strategic to Western countries stepping into Ukraine to be too close to them for comfort. So those areas are very strategic areas. So they're not going to give up. Even if they gave up Kharkiv, what difference would it make? I mean, when you go into the Black Sea, the whole Black Sea is surrounded by Russia.
We have Crimea, so, and then
So even if they decide that, okay, we want to now give back Kherson to them, Ukraine will still not really have a full control over the Black Sea, because Russia have ships all around the Black Sea. So that is how the picture is going to be. I mean, I look at it today. I said, is it going to be a redrawing of the map of Ukraine? And that is how more is looking like. It's looking more like a redrawing of the map of Ukraine. So even if Russia is going to stop the war, they're going to place demands that we want to maintain our security. So we have to understand that all these wars, Russia predicates it on having a secure Russia. So if they think those places that they've taken will ensure that they are secure, they will still keep it.
Okay. So let's see whether they'll keep it or not. But a quick one on the RT, the Russia television network that have been taken off our channel, so you cannot watch it. But normally, what I did was I like to know from various sides. I mean, what is happening. But now it's been taken off. Now you know for sure that Russia is also going to retaliate and say that, okay, we take BBC off our channels there as well. So whilst we were using that to actually inform Russians of what the Russian government is doing, now we're also going to be losing that because we will not be able to reach out to those people or tell their own people that look at what your people your government is doing. Do you think it's a wise move by the Ofcom or by government?
Okay, actually, let's put it this way: you can't watch any TV channel in Russia.
Okay.
All that you can watch is Russian state TV.
All right.
All that is aired in Russia.
All right.
So that is not even the warrior of Western countries.
So their media is not that. You mean to say that their media is not that liberal for anybody to watch whatever they want?
It's not a plural media. It's a single media. Everything that is fed in Russia is coming from the state TV. They have one private channel which has even been taken off air because they were told that they are broadcasting news against the interest of Russia. So the people who watch other channels are watching it via internet.
Okay.
Which Russia will not take down the internet anyway. It won't block
internet usage.
Of internet. But even that said, Russia has blocked some channels within the internet. So some you can't view some channels on the internet because they block it completely. Yeah, so that is the issue. So taking RT down, because the Western countries also deem it that RT is also just being one-sided, same as Russia deems it as BBC or CNN or whichever is being one-sided.
Yeah.
They won't stop you from broadcasting from their nation, but you're generally broadcasting to your own people's consumption.
Okay.
So they don't care.
Okay.
You're not broadcasting to them to consume. So BBC reporters can be there, CNN reporters, any of them can be there. I mean, ITN reporters can be there. They don't really care because it's not being broadcast to Russia. It's being broadcast out of Russia.
Okay, state controlled once again.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Now, 12:29, almost 12:30. Now, let's look at one other aspect of that, and then we can leave the war that is happening at the moment, and that pertains to the ICC, the violation that they're talking about war crimes that have been committed in the State of the Nation address. The President of the United States said, I mean, Russia is eventually causing a war crime. We have our own Prime Minister saying so, and lots of the individuals or leaders of the Western world have been saying that. Now, do you think, because the other time Frank shared something with me, which I watched on either Russia Today at the time or one of the channels, I'm not sure which, but there was Putin who was walking, I think he came out from the Kremlin or something, or moving or walking from the parliament to somewhere, and then he decided, instead of him to go into his armored vehicle, he decided but decided to just walk down the road. So virtually saying that I'm invincible, you can't touch me, you can't do nothing to me. Now, if they say that, well, his soldiers under his command have caused war crimes, how are they going to bring him to justice?
Well, he causing war crimes or not is subjective. Of course, it's subjective. I mean, people have also called for former President Bush
and Tony Blair,
with ICC.
Yeah.
Were they?
No.
So I see that as a power push coming from Western countries. I mean, what they're going to do to him? They're not going to do anything to him.
But you can't arrest him.
Cataloging all that, you can't arrest him. You can't arrest the generals around him. You can't do that. So I think it is more of a wishful suggestion. Could be executed.
Well,
I mean,
we see.
We just have to be honest. I mean, which court are they going to send him to?
Hague.
I mean, this is not Sarajevo. It's not Sarajevo. Kosovo. Or Central African Republic. Or Liberia. Or Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they taking him to? I mean,
Okay. I think we've got Felix on the line. Let's see if he's there. Felix, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. You?
I think I'm okay.
Great. Yes, your take this afternoon, sir.
When did they conduct the investigation for the International Criminal Court already to be talking about war crimes?
Well, the leaders are talking about the various leaders of the Western world. Let me put it that way. Are talking about that the war crimes have been committed. Blah blah blah.
They can talk about it. Have they investigated their crimes in Iraq?
That's what Kojo was saying.
Have they investigated their crimes in Afghanistan? Or do they think we have forgotten about Abu Ghraib? Remember that one?
Yeah, where they shot.
Yeah, remember that one. Okay, fine. Okay, yes. You remember the bombing of the Chinese embassy in Zagreb?
Oh yeah.
In Sarajevo.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
The Chinese embassy in Sarajevo. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Good. Okay. Yeah, you remember the wanton destruction of property in Libya? The United Nations resolution didn't call for the overthrow of the Libyan government. Who has accounted for that? And there's a reason why Edward Snowden still lives in Russia. because within the Russian constitution, they don't recognize extradition of Russian nationals.
Okay.
You can't even change, even if Putin wants to change that, long before this happens. Even the Russian people don't accept extradition of their nationals. It's an entrenched clause in their
anything wrong, we will punish our own. No, you taking him to punish.
Well, is that not what the United States does?
Oh yeah.
When has an American soldier been tried before?
No.
For the many wars they've under
war crimes.
Well, they haven't finished. They are still involved in wars as I speak. Right. I mean, if you can get the former Sudanese leader, Omar al-Bashir, to the International Criminal Court, what chance do you have?
Getting the Putin.
I mean, there's a lot of hot talk. There's a lot of hot talk going on now. I mean, if you're talking about International Criminal Court, there's quite a lot of candidates in the West. There are a lot of candidates in the West. If you got to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, of course.
They think it's the same issue about, like some people are saying, oh, they are surprised that people with blue eyes are going through refugee situations because they would have thought that this happens in Africa and Middle East. Have you come across that?
Yeah, I've come across.
Yeah, I think it's Al Jazeera. And we would like. It's going to be very interesting going forward because there's a country in the Middle East that every now and then goes to Gaza and flattens up the place.
Yeah.
Right. We would like to know what the reaction is going to be because it won't be long. I can bet you that in the next 3-4 years they'll go back to that place to go and flatten up that place again. Because any time the people of Gaza build up their households or their houses, they go there and flatten up them. And I would like to see what the reaction is going to be. All these footballers, all of the presidents, we would like to see what their reaction is going to be. All these ideas to stop Russian, sportsmen from participating. In some cases, even they are being kicked out of conductors of symphony orchestras and things like that. We'd like to know what's going to happen next time around when they go and flatten up the buildings of the Palestinians. Or are we going to get the same old argument, they have the right of self-defense? Right. We'd like to know how that's going to... Look, the fact of the matter is that they can't extradite unless Putin decides to step down or something happens. Somebody, takes his life. I don't know, whatever. But the idea that they're gonna extradite him to the International Criminal Court is frankly a joke. That ain't gonna happen. I mean, look, they should look. These guys sometimes are a little bit funny. Do you know that the International Space Station, the only way you can take astronauts into the International Station is through the Russians?
Yeah. So now
right,
they've not something like that's supposed to go. They've not been able to.
International Space Station.
Maybe.
Yeah. So if the Russians decide that they're not going to bring them down, what are they going to do? These guys are very, very funny. These at the weekend they were making all these things about Swift payments and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's becoming dry home to the Germans that they may not even be able to produce some of their cars because I didn't even know about it. But apparently, a lot of the component parts are manufactured either from Ukraine or from Russia itself. And because you say they're not going to be paid, why would they supply you anything?
Yeah.
It's also becoming clear to them that whether they like it or not, effectively what they have done is just a matter of time. The tariffs will have to go because they can't keep on supplying, countries such as Germany, even Poland, gas, whereas you have no means of paying them back. Either you have to put the money on an aircraft and send it over to Russian territory, but they can't do that because they won't allow their planes, your planes to land in their territory because they retaliated your. So I don't know how they're going to make those money payments and transfers, and they won't keep supplying you the gas if you keep holding on to these sanctions. Look,
first, Felix, I was going to come in with that.
Go ahead.
The switch ban on transaction within SWIFT. There are other gas and crude oil is not essentially is excluded. We put it that way. So they're trying to play this to their own strength. That's what the Western countries are trying to do. They are technically excluded, so there are payment channels still going around.
Well, that's what they are claiming. I mean, that's the general claim that they are making. The problem is that when you impose this huge level of sanctions, it takes even banks out of kilter, shall we say. Because you have to employ a whole lot of compliance officers. And these are, you don't just take a degree holder with law from a university and throw him into this sort of thing. He has to be somebody who's done international trade for many years, who knows the ins and outs. You know, these things, a lot of us don't know much about it. It's just like what happened to Britain when they left the EU. All of a sudden they realized that they don't have enough trade negotiators. And they went about advertising for all these trade negotiators to come around. And they went to the EU initially, and they came back with a decision that has sort of potholes in it, because they were dealing with people who were seasoned trade negotiators who knew things, like we say, at the tip of their fingers. So a lot of banks, you know, there's a reason why even like the likes of Abramovich are having to consider leaving the UK. It's not because they don't have places to go. It's because even where to send your wealth is a problem. Because a lot of banks will say, you know, there are a whole lot of boxes you have to tick now before we can do any transaction with you. And it maybe things are unsettled at the moment. We don't want to expose ourselves to huge fines. You know, so it becomes a bit of a problem. And that's a problem that even Western banks will have to see to it now, because a lot of these businesses and entities, they may have subsidiaries all over the place. And there's a blanket ban over all these subsidiaries. So you now have to figure out, is company A, you know, a subsidiary of a company that is, you know, registered in Russia? And then if it's so, you have to give them notice that, look, that's it. We can't do business with you anymore, that sort of thing. But even that, what then happens? Do you freeze their assets? Or do you ask them to come and park a car in front of the bank and then you give them all their money? Because you have to transfer their funds somewhere. And you are now also barred from transferring funds in many respects. So how do you... in some, those that are frozen, that's okay. But those that are not frozen, how do you give them their funds back? You know, so look, it's an unfortunate situation. The whole thing is unfortunate. It seems like we don't have big diplomats in Europe anymore. You know, because I mean, there is a solution. There are models over there.
Okay, you think that there is a solution? Can you suggest that?
There's not a,
or you think that
there's not a permanent solution, but there are models over there. I mean, like I said to you the other time, there is a model between Finland and Russia. Russia is not attacking Finland.
No.
You know, so there is a model over there. I mean, this idea that Ukraine necessarily has to be part of NATO and necessarily has to be part of the EU. I mean, it's not entirely accurate. There are many countries in Europe that Norway has almost a similar relationship with the EU, even though it's not an EU member. That's an option that Ukraine can take, and all of this bloodshed will be unnecessary. Then Ukraine can also take the Swiss model, which is that maybe you even keep yourself away from international organizations. So you are never ever going to be put under pressure to vote for sanctions against some group or another, that sort of thing. You can just keep yourself away. You can also take the excuse my language. You can also take the Swedish and the Finnish model, which is that they are big members of the EU, but they're also not part of NATO.
Okay.
So these are all options, but it seems that we don't have diplomats anymore, and I don't really blame them. I mean, even in Africa, we don't seem to have diplomats anymore. You have African leaders who are voting on issues and they don't even understand it. I mean, look at the way African students are being treated.
And none of them have been able to make big noise for them to sit up and say...
They're not even making any noises about it. This morning I'm reading that the South African ambassador starts to basically leave the country, escape out of the country. I mean, not that I'm holding brief for South Africans in terms of what they are doing to other Africans in their country, in terms of racism. But, you know, did African leaders think about all of this before they voted the way they voted? I mean, sometimes if you don't know certain things, abstain. You know, that's what some countries do. If you're unsure about things, just abstain. There's no point in, because you see, we are doing all of this at the same time. Most African countries, we have benefited from Russia than, you know, some other Western European countries. I mean, most of our students, that's where they are trained, even in this day and age, because most of us don't have the money to be paying $50,000 a year or pounds a year for a medical student in Western Europe.
So
you know, it's not by accident that you are finding a lot of African students studying in Ukraine. You because we really don't have the resources. You know, that 50,000 you're going to give to one student to go and study at King's College and finish with a medical degree, you could end up giving that 50,000 students to, 10 students from your country. And they'll still come back with the same, medical degree.
Yeah.
If they want to specialize, then they can go somewhere else and pay. Yeah, but at least you can get a basic, GP kind of qualification. That will go a long way in improving your health situation.
Yeah.
Seems like our people are not really up there with the whole thing about geopolitics. I don't know, because they themselves want to save their wives and girlfriends, the visas that they have, to continue living in New York and Paris and London and Munich. Yeah, I mean, that's historically what happens within the African diplomatic circle. You are sent to postings and you leave your children and your wife over there, and then you alone come back when your 4 years is over.
Yeah, that's
with
what
the hope that they will get permanent residence and things like that. So sometimes when they are voting, they maybe they're under pressure, maybe they want to feel like they are finding favor, but there are solutions. It used to be the case that Africans would advocate for a solution to this issue rather than taking sides. That's why most African countries were non-aligned.
Yeah.
Because whether we like it or not, this is the Cold War back in play. And it's being played on European soil rather than in Angola, as it was in the case between UNITA and the MPLA.
Yeah.
Or as it was in the case in North and South Vietnam. So it's a Cold War that is now back in play, but this time it's been played on European soil, and Europeans are beginning to feel like, what's all this? But that's what they've been doing to other countries. Yeah, I mean, that's the honest truth about. I mean, you think if these bombs were dropping on, maybe Chad or something,
who cares? Who cares? They will just make a bit of noise and you get on with your life.
I mean, as we speak now, over the last 6, 7, 8 years or so, they've been Saudis, with the help of some Western countries, have been bombing Yemen into rubble.
Yeah.
They've been really smashing Yemen. I mean, the country is already poor. It's struggling even with water because it's so dry. They can't even get water. That water is a big problem in Yemen. Forget about disease. Water, just ordinary water. The country is so dry. Yet this wealthy Arabian kingdom has been throwing all sorts of bombs on Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it.
Okay, Felix, just hold on until we got Kofi back on. Let's hear what he also has to say, because I wanted us to have a look at the story, the rumors of coup and people saying that, well, we think that if things are not changing or things don't change, there could be coup d'etat and that they are being apprehended. We'll be coming to that briefly, so don't you go anywhere. Let's quickly go to Kofi. Kofi?
How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. Welcome back.
Archie, thank you very much for having me. You see, what I hate in my life is when political discourse become a means of telling story. And we tell story and endless story rather than saying that this thing that is happening, if there's a revolt, if there's war, or whatever in life, what is in it for us? Why are we beneficiaries or we are victims? Can you see? It is when you start asking that question and you start seeing your solution to your problems and what are the solutions and what are the problems. Do you realize when we're talking about technology, which is a big word to some people, when I am talking about the machine that make the machine that make the machine, someone is thinking of the output, the product of the machine that are made, that are imported, and say we have some of it. See, do you remember you said that, you actually said that a machine will break up, scanning machine in the hospital, and you go there and they tell you that, well, we need to wait. They are waiting to import it because the machine itself was imported. Is that not true?
Yeah.
This is what. So, this Ukrainian problem, Russian problem, right? The European problem, everyone is fighting for something. Check. EU probably will be better off with Ukraine being part of it. Americans' enemy are the Russians, one of their biggest drivers. And so, everyone is standing there fighting for what they want. Ukraine wants to free herself. And whatever Ukraine wants, Russians have their own concerns. Put all this in context and ask yourself, where do we stand? When I say where do we stand, right? Remember, we are the victims of everything that happens. Why? Because if some people have problems, it becomes our problem. How are our children even be treated in this development? A girl told Liza she's pregnant. They say, you stand here. Go and ask yourself all these questions, and you know that something is wrong. What am I saying here? If you look at the sanction that is being placed on Russia, you understand?
Yeah.
A lot, it is just telling us that no nation in the world is totally on its own. Nations technologically, economically, and politically are interdependent.
Yeah.
The difference is the degree of the dependency and the interdependence. You can get about 8 times the size of Western Europe inside Russia as it is now. Remember, Ukraine used to be part of the Soviet Union. Can you see?
Yeah.
And like when Kwame Nkrumah was saying that we want to get closer to the Russians, what did the British do? They removed him. They told him, Kwame, leave, or you never have peace, sanction upon sanction until he left. Is that not true?
Yeah.
So we today are the victims of those things. What did the man wanted? He want to have some technological leverage. He want cocoa to return on chocolate in his own country. He want to be a seller that determine the price of his product, not the buyer determining how much they buy from you, because they have the technological means to convert the cocoa into chocolate, which is where the money is. So we should step back and ask ourselves, why did Felix went to all this school if the purpose is to sit on air? Why did Kojo went to school if the purpose and they will be talking endlessly? This problem is a problem that has killed us for a long time. The United so-called nation, why are they one-sided now? Where were they when George Bush, one of you asked the question, where were they when they went to America and leveled them? Where were they when they went into Libya? So it's all about those who have got more allies. Is that not true?
Yeah, yeah.
The United Nations has lost its relevance, totally. However, we are the victims in all this. They say they are taking Putin to Hague. Which Hague? They are not signatory to the convention. Russia is not signatory. You can go and pick Chastela, whether Liberia is a signatory or not, and drag your leaders, drag them in chains. Chastela is in Belmarsh, if you don't know. He's still doing there. Bagbo is in this. These are issues we need to talk about. When you have this kind of leaders, anyone can intimidate them. They become like chickens. They just came from Russia. They want to have a handshake with Putin. Didn't you see the Putin?
Yeah.
Because anyone pay them around. Toothpick, we have to import from China. Oh, that's not saying we don't have trees that are growing in our places. But you need technology to be competitive in the market. This is where we step back. Every tall house you see in Accra, go and check the owner, foreign investors. We are in trouble. 9-year-old girls doing kayayu. Thousands of miles from where their parents are. What is kayayu? It is carrying goods from location A to location B, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
If we can make machine will be carrying the load. Machine carry the load. Human beings sit down. We are not donkeys. And one machine is carrying the load. Can you see? We use the same machine for farming. Ukrainians, to be honest with you, when you are talking about Ukraine, always remember the power Ukraine has came from the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Go back and check. In the days of the Soviet Union, Ukraine, for some reasons, were where the Soviets concentrated the nuclear facilities. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah.
Chernobyl and so on. So at the time the Soviet Union was breaking, there was an agreement that we do not want this, proliferation. Since Ukraine is not going to be sovereign, as my book was explaining, Ukraine is going to be an independent nation that will decide her future, like Japan. Even right now, Ukraine has got some nuclear facilities, but not the kind of facilities that create the warhead.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah.
And when you talk about an industry, someone think when you say a photocopy making machine is just a shop like Tesco. You are not serious. It is so many industries producing different parts put together.
Yeah.
Sometimes nations have to import certain parts from others, but you must have some input in a way. The Ukrainians at this point in time were able to make a lot of guns, a lot. Even Donetsk, where they started the problem. Do you know they are making a lot of guns? Most of the weapons they are using, they make it themselves. Most of the weapons the police in Ghana and so on, Nigeria are using, that is where it comes from. All these guns you see that are proliferated in West Africa, they come from that place. And we say, you know something, this is not about a country by country issue. We are the victims here. It's a competition for survival, competition for political control, competition for economic control, competition for technological control. So let us come together. That's what Kwame Nkrumah said, United States of Africa. He said, let us come together. And in our togetherness, like European Union, we'll be able to give ourselves that advantage. We'll be able to pool resources and invest where we need to invest, train children to do what we want them to do. Is it wrong?
Nothing
when
wrong
the
with
OAU didn't work, then we formed the ECOWAS. Because we have problem with the OAU. There is a problem. They change it to African Union. It's still stupid people in South Africa who are nothing but racist. They are more interested in the black color of their skin and the economic freedom we need. So we then say, you know something? We are thinking of job creation. We are thinking of survival. We are on our knees. We want our ECOWAS to work. Everyone in Ghana hold ECOWAS passports. Do you know that? We also have been given ECOWAS identity card. It means we are no more just Ghanaians. We are also ECOWAS citizens. What did ECOWAS come to see on this Ukrainian issue? They are sleeping. We, the people, are sleeping. The leaders too will sleep. And anybody who get a chance, they steal. Simple as ABC. Because we sell cocoa, we get nothing. When Akufo-Addo and this man, what's the name of that man? His finance minister, they came in Oporiata. Do you know the slogan they started? Their slogan is that we want more value for our cocoa. Is that not true?
Yeah.
That slogan, do you know it's vanished now? That's not their problem now. Because they come to test the waters and they feel the power of sanction. They will put sanction on you. Sanction come in so many ways. And our leaders have become like chicken because these sanctions can be nasty. There's even now we are learning there's some smart this work or smart or whatever trading process that if you don't go through it, Britain or Switzerland, you can't
do it. Yeah.
Learn to make these people put sanction on all the 15 countries of West Africa. I want to see where they stand.
Okay.
We have crude oil on our land and they are refined from outside and petrol is brought in. What nonsense is this?
Okay.
So when you have crude oil, you cannot have refinery. Because they have the technology for the refinery. So we need to wisen up and stop all this street talk and long history.
Okay.
I get bored.
Okay. Thank you very much, Kofi. Thank you very, very much, Kofi. But listeners to Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We just got about 4 or 5 minutes to run up the program. But let me come back I'll come to Kojo, then I'll go to Felix, and then come to Kofi, and then we can run up. Now, what is your take on, when you see the clouds gathering, you see or you feel the winds, and you see the trees moving, and you know for sure that, look, you need to find a place because somehow rain is about to come. Now, if somebody sees all this and they say that, look, I can't foresee rain coming, so we need to hide ourselves or do something about it, and people are being arrested for that. I'm talking about the fact that people are saying that with what is happening in the country at the moment, when it comes to our democracy, it's not a coup. It's a fertile ground for coup. Is there anything wrong with that? Kojo? Yeah.
I would say technically there is nothing wrong in saying we should be on a watch out. But what is wrong is when you go out and instigate, like the young man did. The vulnerable did. That's when it becomes wrong. But if, like the professor did, the professor actually did not call for a coup. He based his lecture on analysis and studies conducted by other people and gave scenarios using examples of coups in and around West Africa. Several coups have happened in West Africa. Our immediate neighbor, which is Burkina Faso, had a coup. So at a lecture, if a professor bases his lecture on we've had coups around our neighbors, Ghana should be forward-looking and try not to get into anyone giving anybody the idea of taking a coup. I think there's nothing wrong in saying that. The president himself could have made that statement. Would the president be arrested? If the chief of the police forces, the IGP, made that statement, will he be arrested?
Nope.
If the military has said that, would the military or defense minister be arrested? If the national security minister said that, will he be arrested? I think the obvious answers are no.
No, yeah.
So if a professor makes that statement and say, look, we've had coups around here in West Africa countries, and a study produced shows that these are the recipe for coups, which Ghana should at all costs avoid. I don't think it's a great thing to call for his arrest.
Okay.
I think it's such a fact. I mean, if you do that, you are stifling independent educational.
A foolish man who doesn't know he needs to go.
Kofi, you are on air still.
Oh, sorry, I'm listening.
Yeah,
we could. My turn.
Yeah, we could hear you. Okay, yeah, Kojo, yes, run up, please, Kojo. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. I've made an example with if it's a policeman, if it's the head of the police, if it's the head of the military, if it's the national security, if it's the head of parliament. Would you say the speaker of parliament should be arrested? No, they won't say.
They won't say that.
But
they won't say that.
Yeah. But if it's an ordinary citizen who have looked at an academic structure, studies that have previously been conducted in other parts of the world, and say these are the conditions that set up coups. So Ghana has some of those conditions. So we should look out and at all costs prevent such a things from happening. Why are people calling for his arrest? I don't know. What he is saying cannot be compared to what other people have said, like Oliver Barker. His own is on a different level. He actually instigated. So I mean, we have to put it that way. Although foolish, but that is the situation. So I think we have to be careful where we are calling for people to be arrested, where we are calling for academics who have made their, based on academic research to say that they should also be arrested. Be careful.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let me see. Kofi, can you speak briefly? Then we can take you off and then we can go to Felix, please.
I think the statement is totally irresponsible. Totally. And it is political and it's partisan, coming from someone who is a dean. You see, now look at the position, the dean of law. To say what he did is wrong. Somebody who was once a political office holder, I think it is totally wrong. See, you said, right, and your voice goes far. You organize people to come and sit down. In a country where the ballot box is working, where election is only 4 years away, that you can vote and change people who are sitting and not doing what the will of the people says. You understand? It is wrong for a person of his caliber to behave like the man on the street. The man on the street, they just put him in prison for maybe 1 month. They release him because what's the point in keeping him in prison? Everyone knows we have a problem. This problem we have is not new. Let us be serious. Do you understand? This problem is an economic problem. The problem we are talking about in Ghana is an economic problem. We've been living with this since 1960. We've had so many coups. Tell me which of the coups solved this problem. Are you saying that the military men are more intelligent than the civilians to come with guns, probably shoot somebody to death, take over government, to do what? The ones in Mali, tell me what they have done economically to change the fate of the Malians. Mention one. The ones in Burkina, what have they done? The ones in Guinea, what have they done? At the end of the day, they will hand over again back to the politicians. Is that not true? And it's not taking us anywhere. We are not gaining. We are not benefiting. So we will be very irresponsible to be talking. Why do you think NDC was voted out of office? Because of the same economic issues. The same thing. So if somebody is behaving, an educated lecturer is behaving like a street man, then something is wrong.
Okay.
The problem, like I said, is an economic problem. Economic problem need technological solutions. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
We want to build schools, we want to build houses, we want to build whatever, church, everything. Are they not technology you need to build them? So when you have an irresponsible professor, to me, is totally irresponsible, honestly.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Okay, thank you very much.
Out of order.
Okay.
Because he is one of those with the voices to be talking about what Kofi Ali is talking about. We have coup here, coup there. Coup in countries where people are holding guns already. Nobody's holding gun in Ghana. Let me tell you what drove me out of Ghana. Mosquitoes.
Okay.
Nobody. Mosquitoes and dust. They drove me out of Ghana. Of course, the city will go down if we are not producing anything and we are importing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see?
Yeah.
We can't produce because we don't have the industries. We don't have the industries because we have the technology.
Okay.
So let us stop all these chicken talks.
Okay. Kofi.
And be serious.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kofi. Thank you. Okay, let's go to Felix. Felix.
I don't really care.
That's a nice one.
The soldiers are also Ghanaians.
Uh-huh.
The soldiers are also Ghanaians. I mean, ask yourself, do you think that an army general will drive around in a motorcade of 50 expensive civilian vehicles? Do you think any of the army generals will hire an expensive jet and travel around in an expensive jet whilst they can't even pay wages now? Are you aware that they haven't been able to pay wages at the end of last month?
Yeah. My sister, I was speaking to my sister. She was telling me something.
It's no longer those, employment intervention programs that they brought. Apparently, it's now beginning to hit people who are, shall we say, full-time, permanent employees. They were promised at the end of February that they will be getting their wages, and it's still not hit the bank yet. And I think we discussed this on your show sometime 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That if it is all about this so-called the e-levy, then there's something that doesn't smell right, and that it's possible that countries running out of cash to pay wages and salaries. Look, at the end of the day, the soldiers are also Ghanaians, right? I don't know how else we expect soldiers to express their frustration. They can't go and participate in demonstrations on the streets. If we want them to be professional, as we think they should be, as we see in Western Europe, well, our soldiers aren't going to do that. The fact of the matter, like Kofi Ali said, the economy is not good, and the solutions are technological. They know it. They studied abroad. They are aware of this. Why they can't do it when they get into power, I don't know. But if you have a government that is spent, I mean, how many people, that last week I asked this question, how many people, no, it wasn't, I think maybe whether you were here, you were hosting the show or Frank was hosting the show, I asked the question, how many people work at 10 Downing Street?
Not sure.
Right, how many people work at 10 Downing Street? How many people was working with Chancellor Merkel at the office? At the Bundestag? We have about 1,000 people working at Flagstaff House. What solutions are they giving us to our problems? Personally, I don't have an issue with whoever runs the country. Insofar as you're running the country well, whether you wear military clothes or whether you wear civilian clothes, I honestly don't care. I'm not a big fan of this thing called democracy. It may work very well in the West. In our part of the world, it doesn't seem like it's working. And let's be frank about it. The reasons I don't know, but in our part of the world, it doesn't seem like it's working. It still remains the case that the best African leader we've had for a long time, until he was overthrown, until he was a military man. I mean, you can say people have the right to air their views, say what they think, and not be harassed and all the rest of it. But those of us who live abroad, can we say that we enjoy those freedoms in reality? I mean, can you really air some things on your show? Your show will be closed. That is the hard reality of it.
Yeah.
We may not want to say it, but it's only when you say something that fits comfortably with the powers that be that you'll be on air.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago, there was Press TV. He gave you a different narrative of whatever was happening. Today, when it's Press TV, it's been taken off the air.
It's sleeping.
And there are many people who have their own YouTube channels and things like that they do their own personal, vlogs and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You dare say something that the powers that be don't want to hear, you'll be out straight away. Your channel will be taken off. I watch Archie sometimes to get
the balance.
Yeah. It's been taken off.
Yeah.
Effectively, you have been told get one narrative. So you watch ITV, you get literally the same pictures, just like you get on BBC. Literally the same pictures that you get on Sky. It's just one narrative. And even the line of questioning by journalists and broadcasters seems to be something that has been scripted. So, look, like Kofi Ali said, it's a basic economic issue. Address the economic problem, and you, the politicians, you have your peace running the country, which is what the Chinese have done to a large extent. They haven't succeeded, but to a large extent, that's what they've done. Address the economic challenges, and most people won't bother with what you, the politicians, you are doing. If I have a job, if I know I can go and do this program after 2 years or 3 years, I'll get some qualifications, and then I'll get a job. That job will guarantee me a certain steady stream of income. I'll have a certain life to, work towards. Most people won't bother too much about other things, but most people, at the end of the day, you are paid, you get home, you get your food, those who have kids, you take care of your kids, you can see your family members, you don't have armed robbers coming to knock at your door in the middle of the night. Your children can go out there and play, have their fun, and have a structured life as they grow old or grow up. Most people are pretty much content. I mean, you can talk about idealistic things, right of speech and a fair judiciary and all those. Everybody agrees that those things are all necessary. But where we are now, it's all about what Kofi Ali said, the economic issues. Just deal with them. And if you dealt with the economic issue, this lecturer would not have gone solo and spoken to whatever he has said, because he will have no reason to say that, because the evidence will not even be there to support that.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. Just address the economic issues. You've come into power, you've borrowed so much, the country is so broke now, they can't even get they can't even get people to lend them money anymore. And you are messing about with people who are disenchanted with the way you are running the country. Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Felix. Good afternoon to Kojo. Good afternoon to Kofi. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining today.
I thought I'll have just one word to say.
Okay, just a quick one, because we're supposed to run up. We've gone over by 11 minutes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those of you who thought when the coup takes place, the so-called international community will come telling us, thank you, we are joking. You see this hardship we've got, they will add sanction to it. And it will make the bad thing worse. So we need to, within the constraints we've got, find a solution rather than giving anyone. The West are benefiting from our stupidity. What we are doing, yes, when we bring ECOWAS together, we make ECOWAS work, they will put sanction on all of us. We have the same problem. It's technology. We'll create the enabling environment to deal with this problem together, as the Chinese did. Indians are, with all the conservatives in India, they have been trying. Let us wake up and understand the reality of the world and how the world play its game. Ghana will never be Nigeria. Nigeria will never be Togo. But we can, like the European Union, work as one. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kojo. Kofi. And then to Kojo and to Felix, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your wonderful contribution to this program today. We're bringing the program to a close after this a quick commercial break, and then I'll see you all tomorrow, God willing. It's been me, Archie, Olayomi Koiki, Kojo D, Felix, and Mr. Kofi Ali Abdul Yakin, all saying have a top of the day. Bye-bye for now.
Of a miracle working God, there is nothing too hard for him.
Join Prophet Ajimai Prempe for this year's double portion London Summit at the London Marriott Hotel, Maidavale, London, NW6 5RP from Friday 11th March through to Sunday 13th. Details are as follows. Friday 11th March 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday 12th of March 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. Sunday 13th of March 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come and experience the prophetic like never before and hear the word of the Lord for your life. Please call 077-60-276-394 or visit www.prophetprempe.org for more details.
A miracle working God. He's a miracle working God.
Okay, yes, sir. So now before we go, Yomi sent me a video that I want to share with you. It's quite an interesting one about the fuel shortage in Nigeria and how Nigerians are being innovative, should I say, sir? Going to the filling stations to get themselves the fuel. Now, watch it. It is quite an interesting one. And when that ends, I'll bring you music and I'll be far gone. Okay? Bye-bye for now.
wo ti Ìbàdàn ti lé báyìí wàá yọ táǹkì epo ẹ̀ dání ni tó o bá ti yọ dání èmi báyìí nísìn wọn ò ta kẹ́gì mọ́ a máa yọ táǹkì ilé epo mọ́tò báyìí ní nísìn àti mọ́tò àti kẹ́gì ṣe tó ń tà mọ́ ṣó wáyé wá báyìí kàyéṣì kí lè tún kí tún lè lè táǹkì mọ́tò lẹ gbé wáyé. ọ̀rọ̀ nọ́mbà lélẹ̀.
Can you practice what you preach? Would you turn the other cheek? Father, 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 help us. There's some guidance from above. People got me questioning. Where is the love? What's wrong with the world, mama? People
This is Starr Radio UK.
Think the whole world's addicted to the drama. Only attracted to things that win some.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Big CIA, Bloods and the Crips and the KKK. If you only had love for your own race, then you only leave space to discriminate. To discriminate only generates hate. When you hate, then you're bound to get irate.